I'm imagining that Dust 2 is going to be where this series could potentially be won or lost on for Endpoint. But where do you think this series is going to go? How do you feel about this matchup?
I'm going to go for a bit of a stab in the dark. I'm actually going to go 2-0 to the Endpoint side. And the reason for that is, yes, I mean, it was a little bit of a shock performance yesterday, but, you know, is seeing what they're able to perform in recent months, seeing what they've been able to perform in recent history between these two sides. And well, you can't really get any more even than that. 1.87 for both sides over on Loot Bet. So if you want to get those odds, or at least bet on one of these teams, it's a pretty good option because, well, it's pretty close.
Of course, you can do that by going to the link below the Twitch channel. €100 on your bonus deposit as Surreal gets his big bonus here on the opening frags. Flit going down first. Crucial will fall in trade, but Thomas there for a trade right back. And the T's stacking their way into the B-bomb site here for the pistol round. Jerry bagged up here outside of Coffins. Robin will take the man down. XD Power coming in from the back. Surreal's going to see him and his teammates swap out. Face Crack does get a trade, but he's the last man left standing in a 1 versus 3 retake. Endpoint storming that B-bomb site, trying to make a statement here for the FORZE side. Good kill for him, but there's Thomas to return the favor. Pistol going the way of the CEX-sponsored camp.
And I'll tell you what, you know, jumping into the T side, I wasn't really sure what the pacing would be like to start things off for Endpoint, but that was damn quick. That was fast up towards Banana, taking early contact into the B anchors and getting some really nice opening kills. They got a great establishment around that top Banana control. They got the smokes into the B bomb site incredibly quickly. And for FORZE, yeah, the rotates were quick, but they had the man disadvantage. They didn't have the numbers game in their favor. And for Endpoint, well, that's a beautiful start from them.
It is. T-side to kick things off here on their opponent's map pick. And again, Endpoint would love to take this away from FORZE. Now that you said 2-0 for Endpoint, and obviously I'm going 2-1 Endpoint. I think they could potentially take it in that third map. But honestly, with how close those odds are, let that set the pace for how difficult it is to pick between these two teams. Endpoint play their defaults out to this Banana position. Mighty Max is nade up to the Coffin's position. It's going to go completely far out. Almost is not going to take much damage at all. Hearing those footsteps for the moment here, it's just information gathering from the CT side.
And there's a lot of map control at the moment for Endpoint. They've established over towards Banana. They've got a bit of presence out towards the apartments. They haven't been able to find an opening kill yet, or even really any kind of a contact. But what they're waiting for is for FORZE to over-aggress, show the map presence, see if they can kind of bait out the over-rotations. And at this point, Endpoint have got a lot of options. They've got a lot of utility to back them up. They can regroup out towards brackets, set themselves up for an A execution, and just leave Mighty Max to do a bit of a lurk. And that's a great start. That might even bring the T's back to the B bomb side, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
They should be able to figure out that there may be a maximum of 1 player here on the B side defensive, unless they have a stack in play. 2 players to rotate out, but the smokers are going to come in way too fast for them. Almaza could pop out, get a kill, and Mighty Max does end up falling down, so a 1-for-1 trade on the refrag. The CZ to boost up one of the Deagles here. Moving in against them, going to try and face towards the bomb plant, but the Mac 10 for Crucial needs to line up this kill, and indeed he does. Flit to fall, plant to be secured. Endpoint taking their time in this round. Now start the 4 versus 3. The retake from FORZE already looking to save their weapons. You can see XC Power is out of there, and the pistols, Face Crack and Almas look for exit frags.
Really smart there coming out from Mighty Max, realizing the fact that he could just rotate his players over towards brackets, leave a single lurker B, and as soon as he gets a kill, well, the cavalry arrives. They all go into that B bomb side. They beat the rotators as well. That's the big thing, is we saw Almaza swinging out to find an opening kill and then coming back, but the rotates weren't there quick enough for them to go for it, and well, this is just going to be a save from FORZE. A 2-0 lead coming out from the Endpoint side, but Almaza may be able to find a little bit more here, Jay.
Oh, good kill from Almaza, drops Crucial. That's 3 frags now sustained by the CT forces. That will cause a reinvestment that will make the economy very, very low here for Endpoint. Of course, the rifle's coming out anyway, so you should expect to see a low money line coming in, but the buy up from FORZE, it's going to be looking like a half buy for this moment. Endpoint going to take a tactical timeout to try and figure things from here. Very early tactical. I would have thought they would have just moved forward with this round and kind of took the economical hit on the chin.
That's incredibly surprising. I mean, we got to cast them a couple of days ago when they were in Group D, I believe it was, and they almost never used tacticals. They were, you know, very, I would say, minimal in the amount of tacticals they were using, and I think it shows some really great intent that the tacticals coming out this early. You know, they realized the importance. Okay, we're in the semi-finals. We need to be taking this round at a time. I mean, it potentially may have been a mistake as they try to go for a technical, considering we've got a game pause, but I think it's a good sign that we're seeing a pause coming out so early.
Regardless of the specifics, FORZE have a moment's respite of their own right here, and ENDPOINT take that moment to figure things out. Hopefully we'll get some information on what specifically is going on here in the server in a moment's time. Yeah, 2-0 start for ENDPOINT, certainly rocking the FORZE camp. They got their choice of sides, so you would have thought the CTs would have got themselves on the right foot for the opening few rounds. But ENDPOINT's aggression and defaults and baking in the aggression to counter from FORZE has worked pretty well for the UK squad.
And one thing I've certainly noticed in the past from ENDPOINT is they establish a lot of map control on the T side of Inferno. They like to get up close and personal. They like to take the map control really quickly. A lot of the time, you won't see Mighty Max holding their players back and, you know, trying to take banana control with a minute left on the clock or 50 seconds. They like to try and take that map control early, and it allows a lot of options and keep that, you know, strat book open for deviations in terms of information coming through. And really, you look at this round, you think, right, a couple of players are able to save in from the last, not too many upgrades to follow, so this should be a relatively easy third from ENDPOINT. The thing that they've got to be looking at, Jay, get those, the MAC 10 to get as many kills as possible and not lose too many players.
2 players here, Boiler, and that's already going to be a casualty sustained. A follow-up casualty here to Banana. Yeah, ours against Thomas to a 5 versus 3. Deagle standing by. Crucial things, Boiler's clear, and the Deagle almost gets a double, but no. Robin and Surreal, 4 on 2 now. The nades on will take face crack out towards the pit position. Acer is open for a plant, but a 3v2 retake from here. ENDPOINT have really bottled this situation.
Yeah, they really have. This is going to be a very difficult post plan, considering how quick the rotates have come out from FORZE. They know it's an A play, and they need to try and isolate these 2 T players, because for Robin and Surreal, they're actually quite far apart at the moment, Jay.
Tight angles held here. Flashbangs over to the short position, going to allow a peek to come through. He saw one. He knows that scout is closing in. Robin solo HP. XC checks it and shuts him down. Surreal left open here. Takes out the first frag. Going to stall for time, but the scout headshots coming in perfectly for XC. And that'll be a retake successful for FORZE.
And you got to think for ENDPOINT there, it's almost like they gave up too many 1v1 fights. We saw Mighty Max going down out towards brackets from the boiler entrance. Then we saw Thomas going down with a great flashbang over from Banana. But from there, they had a 3-on-5. They could have just played the numbers game. They could have slowed it right down and played together. We saw Crucial just trying to run in to see if he can bring the disadvantages back in his favor. And for ENDPOINT, that's certainly not a round that you should be losing. And well, Exy Power, he's straight on that orb.
Straight by coming through due to the eco we saw out from the CT side. AK is the Galil and the rebuy back here, and the economy state is going to be really shown in the buy up here. Obviously the damage coming in on the second round. You see the Deagle and Tech9 for Surreal and Thomas as a result. And FORZE, they could potentially very easily sort of take control of the economy just off the basis of how they played the CT side so far. Like the damage coming through from ENDPOINT, like how much is that really going to hurt them as time goes on?
Oh, a lot. I mean, this economy is so low this early on. If FORZE is able to win out this round, you know, they'll get the economy on their back. They'll be able to establish the momentum. But that's a great double peak coming out from the apartments. And that's going to be forcing FORZE to aggress, to look for information, to bring it back into a 4-on-4. And if ENDPOINT can work together as a unit, they can siphon off these one-on-one trades.
2 players are tagged up for the CT side. A rifle has been regained by Surreal. AWP passed off to Crucial now as Split holds the AK. The double peek into the apartments working extremely well with the lack of weaponry they had. Less than 60 seconds to the clock. The CTs are very, very slow on the rotation, but they do get a third man into the passive control. The Bomber Mighty Max needs to see the smoke coming through. The swing out will see him, but Mighty Max gets that kill. Face crack and Flit now. 2 players left standing alone from pit, from site. 1 player gets isolated. Trade does not come through against Flit. He gets a double. His teammate falls, though, and he's not too far behind him. 3 players standing on the bomb site. Endpoint are going to storm A and most likely take a third here.
That's a really great return coming out from the Endpoint squad to be able to lose a round like that in the previous, to follow up with a round victory. And Almeza can't even consider the going for this at this point. It's a 1 versus 3. Yeah, the money line's in shatters, but holding on to the M4's got to be the best bet. And you had to think for FORZE there, it seemed like they had so much utility on that CT side, but they couldn't really use it because Endpoint, they established the long control incredibly quickly. And as soon as Mighty Max and Surreal would, Crucial I should say, were trying to take that presence, we then saw the swing coming out from the apartments, and it was a beautiful establishment in terms of a crossfire. And FORZE weren't really ready to use that utility they had.
Good response from Endpoint coming out here. I mean, we talk a little bit about how the economy could get affected as time goes on, especially if it keeps getting limited. But alas, limitations are going to get responded to very quickly. And that will force the awkward buyback on the FORZE camp. You're seeing the AWP come out for Exi, the M4 and AUG for Flit and Almeza. But the FAMAS for Jerry, and I don't know what Face Crack has, but I can't imagine it to be amazing. Especially with a double flash, yeah, just a 5-7 for the CT camp. So they're going to be in a very awkward spot in their own right. And get me a bit of a taste of their own medicine, I feel.
Certainly, and well, that really should have been them capitalizing on terms of the economy game, but Endpoint have just reset it again. And now you have a look at FORZE. Look how deep they are into the sites. Yes, they've got a double boost coming up towards the Banana to see if they can get a bit of information from Exi Power, but they're not even trying to counter any kind of control coming in towards brackets. They're falling back. They're allowing this map control to come through. And for Endpoint, all they'll be looking for at this point is see if they can keep pushing the CTs back and get that opening advantage, take down Exi Power.
Good shot from the man, but Thomas able to trade. So that's objective 1 successful. Objective 2 is Jerry closing in with the FAMAS out. He's the only defender of the B bomb site, but Endpoint don't have the presence to storm him just yet. They're slowly making their way into Banana, and there's 1 player out mid that will continue to keep the presence drawn towards the A bomb site. Rotations, excuse me, are going to be long and just slow in general from the CT side. As Thomas peeks out, domes Jerry, and they're not even going to bother for this. They're so deep on A that they're just going to concede the bomb plant and concede the round.
And that's one problem. I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's an element in Inferno that if you're running a gamble stack on the A bomb site, and if you don't have anyone that's playing Library or Arch, you don't have a quick rotator to that B bomb site. So as soon as Jerry goes down, they can't really do anything. They can't rotate over to that B bomb site. They're in a man disadvantage. They're just going to hold on to their weapons, see if they can go for the save. And well, you've got to think for Endpoint on their opponent's map pick, they've got off to a flying start, 4-1 up. They're in charge of the money game at the moment. FORZE can't force the issue, so they'll probably just very light buy around these upgrades. And Endpoint have got the potential of going up 5-1, Jay.
Indeed they do, and able to follow suit off the historical T-sides that we've seen from these guys. Whenever they've taken on FORZE, they tended to have the upper hand on the T-side. Getting this early start right here is certainly tipping the tides to their favor if they can keep that going. Could be seeing a very, very fun little time. AK's AWP's out of standard for Endpoint, going to keep their money building here, and it's not in the best of states, but also not in the worst. A half buy coming out from FORZE with their save weapons, not going to bolster with the full-blown force up. The fast players coming out from the T side will overwhelm them as a result. Jerry tagged to 38. He's got back up in face crack, but they're both pistols out here. They haven't checked the sandbags. This could be a kill on the AWP, and following up, oh, the CTs are cleaning house. Bomb's been dropped 4-on-2, but the AWP ends up falling. Face crack is there to keep the trades going, and all that's left is Surreal, dealt with by Exi Power, and the pistols compound as the CTs just prove.
And that's twice now. We're really seeing Endpoint struggling against some of these half buys. And you've got to think, great intent. You know, they go up to the top banana incredibly quickly, but it was kind of, they were stuck in the middle. It was a bit of a hesitant play where they didn't really want to commit forward, but they didn't really want to fall back. And because of that, they don't check out that sandbags position. And, well, FORZE, that's a beautiful round from them. That is really their opportunity to climb back in this CT half. And you've got to think for Endpoint, they've got to knuckle down on some of these half buys, Jay.
And a tactical coming through from FORZE here. Got to figure something out because they have kind of been suppressed and overwhelmed by what Endpoint are bringing to the table. The CT camp have recovered a couple of AKs, obviously. A big victory in that last round could start to change the tide here. They found the momentum swing. They just have to take that moment to swing it into the following few rounds. Again, Endpoint's buy-up's going to be a little bit awkward here. The AWP in, the AK's on 2, a MAC-10 for Mighty Max, and Surreal has a pistol. Again, limited economy states from the CT camp as they go to their defensive. Very heavy aggression into the B banana positions. Only so far as the Procom wall, though. Almaza does not want to stretch further than this.
And this is the first time we've actually seen the setup where FORZE have established the control out towards the banana position. They've left Almaza. He's just going to do some jump spotting, get a little bit of information. They can keep 4 players here at A. And for Endpoint, look at even the damage that's been done in terms of utility. Crucial down to 55. Thomas tagged up a little bit. And for Endpoint, they've got the map control, but they've also taken a lot of damage at the moment.
A minute to the clock. Damage sustained by Endpoint. FORZE in a very good position to hold off against the execution. Sets incoming to the A bomb site this time. They've got the apartments control, brackets pushed up towards. One player back over at the banana entrance. They'll try to keep Almaza baited over, but he's just going to play contact. The main defensive force is still on A, and if Endpoint want to continue committing to this, they're going to walk into the majority of the firepower here. 30 seconds to go. When do Endpoint act? It looks like that answer is going to be right about now. Smoke's on. XE going to see that coming out towards Arch. Still looking for Thomas and Max. Flash over. Good kill on the first, seeing 2 more. And the bottom falling back, knowing that he's got the time advantage here. 15 seconds to the clock, and he still scopes in, waiting for long control. AUG burst up. Thomas goes down. And so does Robin. 2 players standing. Endpoint have lost this round at this stage. Crucial's going to save his AWP. Surreal, probably best to save his Kevlar as well. Maybe look for an exit. Fragging is going to be a bit too dangerous. And indeed, he falls out of dodge, and Endpoint concede 3.
And unfortunately for Endpoint, they just run down the clock too low. And for FORZE, it gets to, what, 20 seconds when XE was able to find that opening kill out from long. From there, they just keep throwing flashes. They go, you know what, we could just keep using our utility, try and force you back. There's 2 players playing in that mini pit position on the CT side. And, well, for FORZE, a great defensive being held at the A bomb side. And you've got to think for Endpoint, maybe they need to try and go back towards B, at least establishing some control, because it seems like when they go to AJ, they're getting shut down.
Mid control from XE, looking onto the mid and second mid positions. Nades up and down from Banana. Thomas with the Tech 9 desperate to get a kill, but it's just not going to work out for him, this force buy. Dead to get picked apart for FORZE. You're just going to expect easy stuff coming through from the rifles. The AK sat back, flip with a perfect nade. This could do so much damage to Crucial. Surreal. Incendiary to follow it up. And yeah, Surreal forced back. At least tanks it so the AWP doesn't have to, but either way, not really much for Endpoint to work with here.
And they've got to try and deal with XE power. Endpoint already down a member. They're now going to just group up, see if they can hit the A bomb site relatively quickly. It is at least a little bit quicker than the last round, but you look at the rotations in from FORZE. They've got 2 players to stop the wrap in towards CT and 2 very close on the bomb site from one another.
Max on site. There goes a kill or 2 from Flip. Robin does overwhelm, but now to pick up the bomb and get it planted out in the open. A bomb plant secured here could give a little bit of a money injection that may work well enough for Endpoint. But with the force buy in check, that might still lead to awkward stances going into Man number 9. 2 kills for Robin, though. 3 picks to his name. Deagle out. Knows where the AWP is. And try for the simple fake flash. Don't do that. That never works. Not since ESO 1. But yeah, 4 on the board of FORZE. Damage done by Endpoint at least. But again, that money line is not fantastic.
Oh, that's a big round from FORZE, and well, for Robin, that was actually a really great attempt in the 1 versus 3. Unfortunately, if he would have had enough bullets, he would have been able to hold on to that AK, and considering he's out of bullets, he goes, let's just see if we can just try and pull a distraction and get him with the deagle. And you're right, you know, you look at the economy line coming out from Endpoint, but while we do have a little bit of a time, our fantastic partners over at Hellcase offering some fantastic codes, a Malta V15 to get a 15% refill bonus. And you've got a thing from FORZE. Oh, XP got baited out by a chicken. That's pretty funny. But this should be them really taking the lead. You've got to think, Jay.
Trying to get 6 casualties to the seaside board.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 all, as you mentioned. Eco coming through. Tech9's Deagles, Kevlar on some players. A half buy at best. Around the corner. Orb shot actually missing from Exy this time. Does connect onto Robin though, and the AUG and M4 to the crossfire will lock out the kills. So 2 players left standing. Mighty Max is could have waited and baited to get to the bomb site here. Smoke down towards Cross, a simple plant. Again, extra money to be gained here by the T-side camp as Mighty Max gets overwhelmed by Exy power and by Flit on the bomb site. Again, expected result here for FORZE is they take the lead away at 5-4. The rebuy is coming in from Endpoint though.
I think things are looking really good at the moment for the FORZE side. This is, what, 4 rounds in a row from them. They're starting to build up their money line. The rounds that they're winning, outside of that, you know, 1 versus 3 attempt from Robin, they've been keeping sort of 2-3 players alive, building that economy, making sure they've got a bit of a bank to work with. And you even look at the buy from Endpoint, it's great across the board. Crucial's got an AWP, doesn't really have a massive amount of utility to work with. And this is aggression. We haven't seen this from FORZE before.
Crucial with that first pick, secondary face is gonna miss against Almaza. That's a crucial shot you couldn't afford to miss. Thomas and Surreal will trade it, but look at how pushed up Flit is into the top mid area. A player coming in from Mexico as well, and he's so expecting these guys. Are they ready for this orb shot to his position? They double peek, they take him down. And Endpoint, despite a couple of issues in the early round, they have managed a 1 versus 4 with the Orb of Exy being the last thing standing. Could isolate a 1v1 here against Surreal, and indeed he does. But from there, the T's can just push into the B bomb site, get the bomb plant, and fend off whatever Exy wants to go for here.
And for Jerry, he's got to like be banging his head across the table, because the thing is, what he called makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately just doesn't work, because the fact is they try and get Exy power to set up Flit getting very aggressive. Now, Endpoint in these last few rounds have taken banana control relatively slowly because FORZE have used so much utility towards it. But what happens there is Thomas and Crucial just fly up towards banana. They're able to establish a bit of a trading ability. They open up the B bomb site and they go, right, well, we could just run into B. And for FORZE, unfortunately, that round just goes so wrong off the fact that Endpoint have already established the B presence.
Not as much of a slogfest in this map as we were hoping and expecting it to be. Endpoint once again edging out FORZE, but you can see the economy game has been played much better from the CT camp. The rebuy can come through, and a single orb setup still coming from Exy. They could have afforded the double orb, so I'm surprised they didn't go for it here. I can't remember, was FORZE a particularly proficient double orb team, or? Yeah,
no, they don't really run it very often, honestly. Like, even in OT, you almost never see them pick it up. Sometimes Flip picks it up every now and then, or Almaza, but they don't have like a dedicated secondary AWP player. Whereas Endpoint, you know, sometimes we see Mighty Max or Surreal pick it up on maps like Dust 2 and Train on the CT side. Maybe we might see it coming out into Inferno when the economy gets a little bit stronger for them in the second half. But look at the nades coming out towards Banana. Great peek coming out. One-on-one trade, but Thomas is so low.
Jerry couldn't take him down though. That swing taking him at 7 HP. Surreal's also on 2. Finally, Thomas does end up going down, but Crucial through the smoke catches face crack. He knows that Jerry is still there. He's the man that got the kill, so banana control maintained by the CTs. The AWP falling back here to watch that mid position in case they start pushing out. A minute to the clock. Endpoint playing relatively passive for this. FORZE are going to swing and respond. They've got a 3 versus 3. Be careful they play this, though. Again, they're very heavily tagged up here.
And you've got to think, Surreal's got to make a choice, or they've got to make a choice within the team, whether Surreal goes first so they can bait him for the 1-on-1, or he plays further back and backs up the AWP of Crucial. But considering how low on the time it has to be a B play. Robin's falling out of the apartments. There's only one player at this B bomb side, so this isn't a bad read at all coming out from the Endpoint side.
XE ready and waiting against Crucial. 20 seconds to the hit now. Low facing Surreal. Going to be the bait and switch player. Sacrifices himself for the info now. They make their way up. Crucial going to face in. Try and take a blind shot. Second kill for XE Power. Makes it not 3. Crucial lands his 2K and gets the bomb plot. Now Flit and Jerry coming in from CT spawn. And Crucial knows this. Going to scope up, check around the church position. See one man now look to the bomb site. Hearing those footsteps on for his clutch. And he gets 4 kills. 4 massive kills with a 6th round for Endpoint.
Now, we haven't really seen Crucial coming alive so far on the T side, but man, is that a big clutch. That is so damn big, and it really helps them out to be able to secure their 6th. Just the way he isolates those one-on-ones. I love the way that Crucial, he's got the intent. A lot of players in that 1 versus 2 scenario would try and plant, maybe fall back to a deep position like a dark or new box. But instead for Crucial, he's actually looking to try and take the fight. He's actually trying to see if he can catch the CTs out of position. And that's exactly what happened. And Crucial, take a bow, my friend, but he needs to follow up again. And, oh, he just escapes in time.
Armors are right behind that wood box stack position. When will he face? Will Crucial catch him off? He's expecting this, but he doesn't pull the trigger. Armors are with the kill, doubling up on Thomas on that small headshot position of the wood stack. Bomb's been dropped to 5v3. I don't know if they have that info just yet. And the AWP of XE seeing more presence to the mid position. They've got a ton of information and a big 2-man advantage early on.
Well, okay. Almaze up. Just some raw peaks coming out of just jiggles out through the top banana control. And well, that establishes the 5-on-3. And you've got to think for Endpoint, they've got to dig deep. They've got to play as a unit, and they've got to try and open up this bomb side. They don't have the players or the time to go for any more defaults. And this is just going to be them simply executing to the B bomb site.
2 players there, 1 boost spot. Does take down a player, but Mighty Max there for a quick trade. 2 left standing for Endpoint. Molotov into the construction area. Someone's got to check new box. Robin doesn't, neither does Mighty Max, and that's a simple sequence for 4 kills for Almaza. Beautiful stuff for the initial entries, and again, that 5 versus 3 did wonders for the CT defense.
And it all comes off the back of Almazer. He does so much work at the beginning of that round, and from there, just playing really passive. You know, Flip, he was spotted out towards the boost position, and Almazer, he doesn't need a peek until, well, the timing's perfect for him. Gets out, gets 4 kills in the end of the round. And wow, this is really coming to be quite the close map in this series, tied up at 6 apiece. Now, the one thing that Endpoint have struggled with in these last few rounds, Jay, is getting on top of the muddy game, and it's certainly not in their court at the moment.
No, it's not. And, you know, FORZE, on the contrary, have been fantastic with managing their money. They've had good buys up coming through in several crucial rounds. Endpoint had some money troubles in the group stage as well, if I remember, so maybe that could be a product of the 10-day break that they had. Regardless, it is hurting them right here, right now. The pistols out and a half by an eco, more so for other players. Flip finds the first and the second. Jerry going to round this corner with the AK. Does actually get taken out by Thomas, but the Orb's there to respond, drop the bomb. Face crack there to support him, make sure he doesn't have to reface, but he still does anyway. And XE takes Crucial for his trouble. 1 casualty sustained by the CT side, so once again the economy can continue to build, and they have a lead above Endpoint again.
And you've got to think for the Endpoint side, this could be a good moment to maybe take a little bit of a tactical, at least maybe going into the next round, and kind of rethink things and go, right, okay, what's working for us at the moment? It seems like FORZE have been able to do a lot of change-ups over towards that banana control. They're finding a lot of impact. They're finding a lot of damage. How can we start to shut that down? And they're probably looking off the back of this AWP at Crucial to just see if they can find an opening kill.
Too passive to find anything right now. Apartments positions again being sprayed through on the wallbang areas by FORZE. The mid control established by XC. Scopes in against Crucial, and Crucial does find that opening frag. The slight amount of aggression towards that mid area. And now suddenly the CTs are at the disadvantage.
Unfortunately for FaceCrack, like, he can bring in a little bit of a rotation. Thomas, they can go quick B. They've been able to at least catch off the lurker over towards the B bomb site, getting aggressive. That's a lot of information now for Endpoint. They can play mind games at this point. They've got a 5-on-3. They've got a lot of map control. They've got lurkers over towards the apartments, and they're going to start hearing footsteps as soon as FORZE starts to rotate off of A. They've only got a single player, Jerry, at B. Endpoint are in the perfect position to shut this round down.
Time is ticking. Jerry going to be the lone holder here. M4 smokes up, blind spray, gives up his position, does not get any frags back. Nades on, going to try and do some damage to return, force the CTs away, and that'll be successful here for Endpoint. Nothing left in this round before, so they're calling it in early. And again, just more to the point of the economy state, you know, knowing when they're at risk, players being on $50, $1,000, so keep those M4s in and you can go for another buy.
That's really smart coming out from FORZE. You know, it's a 3-on-5. Even if they go for it, and let's just say they get 3 or 4 kills and they lose the round, they're not really targeting the economy much because, well, the bomb plan came through. And for Endpoint, it's going into the last round. Yes, they would struggle a bit, but it makes more sense for them to go to the save and hold on to their economy status. Well, Cyril actually might be able to find a couple of extra kills. There's no way they expect him to be. They'll be watching him, but they might not expect him.
Oh, no. They're going to be ready to shut them down. So no facing from Cyril, no exit kills, unfortunately, for Endpoint, but that's fine. Again, they win the round, and they go into the last round of the half. Up against a decent buy, but with a chance to take the advantage at the turn of the T side to try and end things off on a high here for Endpoint. Was the M4s backed up by the AWP, and the AWP of Crucial still then playing the AKs out with full sets of utility, so no money troubles for Endpoint at the end of this one. Full sets of utility out for FORZE, once again managing their money line pretty perfectly here. First pick trying to get faced in from XE or Crucial. He falls back away from Mighty Max. They're going to hear those footsteps. Wow, that's some fast B-hopping to get out of the long challenge and back into safety for the CT side.
That was actually pretty impressive coming out from XE Power. He's got the hops. And, well, for Endpoint, Thomas, he's got the frags, and he's got 2 of them. That opens up B. And again, it really seems like for Endpoint, when they're winning rounds, they're getting massive advantages.
Now try hop your way out of this one, XE. 5 versus 3. Endpoint. Thomas in particular. Decimation onto the banana position. Tanking his way straight up that area and getting the basically the man advantage from here. Probably the round at this stage. Well, actually does find a trade for him at 15 HP. Flit drops the bomb as well. Also on 12. Robin will swing out and strike. Look for FaceCrack. FaceCrack responds to a 2-on-2. Cyril needs to get this trade. It all rests on this because XE with his orb, with his massive lack of health, will leave not much breathing room for this retake here. Endpoint eventually do turn back the trades. Now look to turn back the round at the end of the half. 40 seconds for XE. He's got the double flash and molly. And of course the kit on his back here. But again, it's just so difficult. One shot from any gun will be able to secure this from here. He'll slow peek in, try look for Crucial perhaps. It might be his best and easiest kill to find. On the graveyard, back's turn, did not see a gun barrel. He does, he doesn't. No one's going to call it, and Cyril will take him down. So 8 points for Endpoint at the end of the first half.
And that's a good recovery from Endpoint. They got off to a really good lead. They were up 4-1. They let their lead slip away. But towards the end, you know, it was very back and forth between these two sides. Thomas did a great job in that last round of finding a couple of opening kills. Yes, the trades did go back in favor at one point to the CT side, but for Endpoint, you know, looking pretty comfortable at the moment on Inferno, and you've got to think that this pistol round, I would say, dictates a lot of the momentum going forward into the second half.
See the odds slightly favoring FORZE at this stage at the halfway point of the matchup. Again, if you want to get yourself involved in the Malta vibes, I'll hold that on for a second because Endpoint are going to go very quickly and get themselves involved in the pistol round. Taps up against Flit, will tag him up, try and take him down towards second mid. Damage is going to be sustained by the CTs, so they do take the first 2 casualties. Trade back for 1. XE pops up out of Mexico, gets his kill, and Mighty Max suddenly left alone. Decimation from FORZE to start things off on T side, and they get the pistol on the board.
And you've just got to think, you know, those were just sloppy shots coming out from both sides. But for Forza, they had the information. As soon as those second mid players peek out and see the information, they go, right, there's got to be at least 3 players out towards mid. And from there, they can just siphon them off, work as a unit, start to just overwhelm. And, well, the Glocks find some really great headshots in the end. Look at the MAC-10s upgraded. 3 MAC-10s out for the Forza side. They are looking to do damage, Jay.
Oh, but Robin responds perfectly to take out the first. Jerry, headshot on a drive-by, straight back out from the mid position. And big frag to open things up. He continues to hold that cross area alongside Crucial on the other side of brackets in the long face. Almazada gets Mighty Max back with the AKs, and now they've got to get the big guns out and try and do some responses. Indeed, Xe takes Crucial back and forces them out advantage back to Forza favor.
And this is really great position now for Forza. Yes, they get re-smoked towards the top of Banana, but they've got the man advantage, and, well, there's pretty much no U2 at the moment for this endpoint side, so they can just run down the clock, play the mind games, have a bit of a lurk coming out here from Flit towards the apartment, see if he can sell some sort of a fake, and, well, for endpoint, Jay, it looks like it's going to be a gamble stack to the A bomb site, and for Forza, well, they're setting themselves up for B.
Oh, I wasn't sure what they were doing right there. Thomas was going to shut down Flip regardless, though, and realized with the utility coming in now, this is definitely going to be a B play. Can this Deagle do anything against them here? He'll be completely blind. Molotovs coming in are going to get extinguished by the flame. Scout shots from Robin also completely blind. Checking out the boost position. And Xe, Almas are actually going for the bomb plant. Thomas, can he take him down? No, we'll tag him, but not take the frag. Robin, in the meantime, does end up falling. So it's just these pistols out on the force buy for endpoint. And they look like they want to save their Kevlar above all else. A 9th for Forza as they get things started off on the right foot.
And that's the Russian side being able to take the lead now on their own map pick. 9 to 8 up. And for endpoint, they're just trying to opt to go for the save. Maybe see if they can throw that scout over to Robin or Crucial if they want to take it. Allow Thomas to hold on to the couple of Deagles that they had saved in. So we're not quite going to see a rifle round coming up for the endpoint side just quite yet. It's going to take a little bit more of a couple more rounds. And you've got to think for Forza, you know, maybe upgrade another MAC-10. This is an opportunity to really start to build up the money line. They know that they're not going to force the issue again.
Just the 2 MAC-10s coming out from Forza. AK's on 3. Scout out again for Crucial, looking for that first drive-by kill. Once again, on a good spawn against the T side line, but unable to see anything. He falls quickly out of that mid position. Surreal spotted also in the apartment, so info gathering right now for the Forza camp. Looking onwards to the B bomb site again for the main rifles. Looks like a fast smoke play out from the T side. The flashes also go over, but no early execution from Forza. They haven't got the bombs. They can't really justify it.
And endpoint, at the moment, you know, considering how passive they are at the bomb sites, they don't really have a lot of information of what's going on. So the best thing that they can do is just gamble sack, see if they can play as a unit. That's why they're bringing a 3rd player over to this B bomb site. But you've got to think for Forza, even with the amount of players here from the city side, this should just be a clean up. So many mollies coming out.
Thomas takes Mighty Max, 5 on 4. Good deal from Thomas in the backline, doing a ton of damage. This sets up the pistols for glory here, but Robin giving away his position rather than waiting to strike. That means Jerry can secure a bomb plot, no qualms about it. Oh! Crucial through the smoke, finds Flit's head and continues to fire away, hoping to get something. Robin gets Xe back over at the second box. Now Jerry and Face Crack, very low HP. This is doable for endpoint. The AK swings, the spray is good to do damage to Crucial. No frag against him. MAC-10 making his way around against Robin. He takes out Face Crack. Jerry gets a kill, but Robin finishes off the job. 3 picks to the man. And a 9th on the board for endpoint. The ecos and the upgrade pistols work stunningly well.
And just when you think that endpoint have lost to, what, 2 half-bar/eco rounds in the first half, Forza hadn't at all, and now they've just lost to their first, and they've got to force the issue here. Man, that's a big round to win from Endpoint. This shot from Crucial. The lineup, man. Oh, sweet as.
I feel like that headshot turned it all around because from there, like, it all just fell to pieces for the post plant. Like, I'm not sure if you call that luck, good prediction, or skill, or what have you. But either way, it is going to be a round for Endpoint. Check out the AWPs here for Crucial. Back in on the buy in general. Check out the buy in general from Endpoint. Compare it to what FORZE have, and you can see what that's going to do for their own economy state. They've had economy worries all game so far. And Face Crank tanks that nade to the face. 58 HP for the MAC-10, so it's not the worst damage dealer in the world. Looking like they're going to continue with their out of the apartment strategy here. The AK of Robin lets one player pass. He's right there on the balcony. Face Crack will trade him for a good $600 frag, but now Surreal on site, Crucial towards long. Surreal gets himself a kill, but does get overwhelmed by knowing exactly where he was. The AWP of Crucial still there to strike, though. Takes out Exi, leaving Flit alone in a 1 versus 3 now. Max and Thomas rotating into position. Max in particular in the backlines. He's got the bomb control, so there's no way left in for Flit. He's on the bomb site. He's going to get pinned out. Probably as the smoke clears, they'll see him. They'll tap him up. Max almost goes down. That's a bit of an awkward exchange. CT's now in position. Crucial's also tagged pretty low, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Thomas goes down. AK's picked up. Flick could do this. Flick could seriously do this. 4K up for the man. Flashing and checking. 40 seconds left. They have to hold passive, but even if he challenges them, he's at a major advantage, but Crucial holds the line and holds the kill.
Oh my goodness, I was so nervous. I was so damn nervous from Endpoint because that really looked like it was going to go the way of Flit there. He did so much damage to take Mighty Max and Crucial just so low, and then to take down Thomas. But you got to think there for FORZE, they try and go for the app spot, but unfortunately, the HE did a lot of damage to start things off. The molly was perfectly timed from Robin. Yeah, he didn't get the best of vision and the best of kills from the apartments, but the damage that was done, the quick trades that come out, and that's Endpoint taking the lead. This could be them going up 11 rounds. They're in a great position at the moment. They've got so much momentum. Surreal's getting a little bit of information.
Nade on from Robin. Sees one player crossing, takes damage, but returns some more. Nade's coming out, trying to time it well against the apartment's control. Again, another fast play coming out here. The flashbang keep the CTs blind, and Robin does get overwhelmed, so Will drops that bomb. Sees the player on site. He gets XE power for his trouble, making it a 3K against Flip, but Face Greg there in pit. And Jerry towards long gets into a 2 versus 2. So again, FORZE with very little doing a lot of damage, and a plant to be secured to bolster their economy for a decent buy here. M4 to get another kill, potentially 2. He sees them both. But Flashbang keeps him blind and forces him to fall back here. You might have to concede the plant and the round here. The defuse should come through for Endpoint. Smokes on, Molotov's down, and yeah, they're sticking it. He can't get there in time. He'll make his way to the apartments, spray through, not on the right position. Thomas is going to get away with it. And there you go, as you say, 11 on the board for Endpoint. FORZE, they're getting a bomb plant out of this, a free rifle. It's going to be a buy.
Now, you know what I'm actually thinking about in the back of my mind is that Jerry might be thinking, you know what, let's fake an apps pop. We've done it 2 times now where we've been able to get some pretty good entries. If they fake an apps pop, they could probably force a lot of rotations out from that B bomb side. Now they're playing into the mind games. Jerry's saying, okay, yeah, we had weaknesses and we lost rounds, but where were the positives and how can we go forward? Because you've got to think for FORZE, it is vital that they win out this gun round because that would be able to get them back in the game and closing this scoreline. Even Crucial, he's looking for information. So aggressive at the moment in through apartments.
He may get a kill for trouble. Leg shot on Flit, and that costs him his life. 5-on-4 scenario, and they're so close to wallbanging him out. The real. You want that spraying a little bit further to the right-hand side. That probably could have killed off Flit. Smokes down utility coming into the A bomb site. It's still just brackets control established for FORZE. They aren't going to commit just yet. Very carefully at this moment here.
And Endpoint, at this point, like, they've got a couple of options. They can either play really passive in the side, or they can try and fight for information. They're actually gamble stacking this A bomb site, Jay, in a 4-on-5. They've got absolutely no one to be. This is a complete gamble.
And with Flare getting a kill on Surreal, it's going to keep it going to their favor. The AWP does get traded, but their gambles may have worked, and they're going to rotate at the wrong moment. Smokes down. Max going to lose against Almaza. Robin is suddenly last man standing. Up into the box corner. Thomas is there to back him up. But if he goes down, they've got easy access to B once again. And even if he doesn't, they can rotate back towards Banana. And that's exactly what they're going to do. FORZE have played Endpoint like a fiddle in this tactical game. And this should be 10 to the T-side board.
And Endpoint, they just have to save. They realise the fact that their money line's not great at the moment. It's a free bomb site up for FORZE, and I'm not sure if I like that call coming out from Mighty Max to just gamble stack that A bomb site. It seemed like it was a very high risk, kind of medium reward play for my liking. Like, I can certainly understand in a man disadvantage, you want to be able to play as a unit and see if you can turn it back, but the fact that they left no one at B, and then I'm not sure what the comms were, but then Surreal just started trying to run towards long from the pit position. It was an easy shot to come out from Flit. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication in that last round for Endpoint.
Absolutely. Things went very wrong very quickly. Ten to the T-side board. Again, FORZE are able to overwhelm and outplay Endpoint very quickly here, so a good efforts from Endpoint to get themselves 2 rounds in the lead. Any further than this, however, could be even more magical, again, to try and limit the loss bonus stance here of the T-side. AWP's, of course, coming in with the M4s. Bullet down, AK saved by Thomas, and MP9 for Mighty Max. Could throw them off a little bit. A Deagle for Surreal might throw them off even a little bit more here, so the setup really is not that good from the Endpoint camp.
A couple of great nades actually coming out from Flit there, of the long smoke and porch molly. And you talk about this MP9 of Mighty Max. He wants to try and get flashed into the banana position. He sees a lot of information. He can recall that over to his teammates of he saw at least 2 or 3 players towards banana. But look at the damage he's taken for that information play.
Smokes on from Thomas here, going to keep them away from B site for the moment, but it looks like FORZE are going to commit through this in a moment anyway. Face Crack and Jerry ready for aggression, falling back to position. Back to the first box here with a boost-up player and a 3rd man on site. 55 seconds and the utility starts pouring in. Cindia is back to the back line. Thomas going to try and play off this. Mighty Max is so low, and now Robin is the first casualty of the defense. Max is desperately looking for a way in. If he can get even 1 kill from here, which he could find on Almazar. No, face crack swings. Surreal burns 1. Thomas going to sustain the damage, take a secondary kill. Jerry trades it back to 3 versus 2 and 1. And Crucial left alone to save his weapon. There's no way back.
And Endpoint, they were set up really nicely towards that B bomb site. They had 3 players there. They were establishing crossfire back towards CT. But the fact is, from FORZE, just so sharp on those entry kills. And one thing in particular that I've noticed in this map, Jay, between these 2 sides is we haven't really ever seen like a long streak of rounds for either team. At most, we've only seen 4 rounds at one point. It's been back and forward, a team winning 2 rounds, then another reset, then 3 rounds at a reset. It's never been a consistent streak of rounds for either team. And that's what's made this whole game, especially in the second half, just go so back and forward in terms of the economy, because for both teams, they've never really been able to build up the bank.
Especially in the second half, FORZE had great economical management in the first one. Now, not the same could be said. Have got a decent buy coming up here, and the money is starting to build now. Maybe their fortunes could change. 11 all should be seeing an eco come out from Endpoint here. Just that AWP being saved. No Kevlar, no utility investment. I didn't see any pistols get brought down either, so okay, maybe a couple pistols in the CZ and the P250. A boost up from Crucial, seeing 1 player up towards mid, but again, can't quite find that kill. Can't quite find the opening. Surreal and Crucial continuing to aggress though. They want to get that first pick on the board, but as aggressive as they want to get towards A and B, they're very passive, and this is a free bomb site and a bomb plant for FORZE.
This looks to be a pretty easy round. You can certainly think for the FORZE camp, they don't need to hunt. They'll know that the money line is in struggles for this Endpoint side. Oh, that takes down the AWP. That's so big because they won't have enough money to invest it in the following round, Jay.
Second kill from Face Crack there. No chance for a recovery, it seems. One player on the A-bomb side dealt with by Flit on a consistent lurk, and on the B-bomb side, they overwhelm everything. All 5 alive. And FORZE take the lead from the endpoint camp. Again, that eco is mostly to buy into this round, and as you mentioned, they can't reinvest into the AWP. I mean, they can't even invest into full rifles, so they have to concede the 2 SMGs on Max and Thomas. M4's out for the other 3, which is going to have to do most of the damage. And if they lose this round, then they're going to be in deep trouble.
Hey, you've got to think for Endpoint, they lose this round, they're pretty much done, I would say, in this first map of Inferno. And FORZE are starting to gain a lot of momentum at the moment. In towards Banana, pretty aggressively out for the T side, not a lot of utility for Endpoint. Hardly anything is being used to Banana at this point, Jay.
Oh, Molotov's burning on XE. Endpoint will do early damage. They won't know about that just yet. Information gained, double nades. Oh, XE saw that coming. He just gets out of dodge. But Thomas gets him and Almaza for the first 2 picks of the CT side. There is going to be a trade from XE. As Thomas gets away alive on 3 HP, they've done the damage, setting up the rifles now for glory.
And you've got to think for Thomas, he's done such a great job so far. He gets 2 massive kills. Yes, he's so low, so it's going to be difficult for him to kind of help his teammate of Crucial. Actually going to boost Thomas up towards the second Orange's position. And for FORZE, they're not worried about default or anything. This is back to the execution over at this B bomb site.
Nades on against Crucial, 83 HP. Flit taking Thomas with a Molotov kill. It just placed right in that case. Flashes over Crucial's out in the open, drops Jerry. Spray tracks for the second, not quite the third. Flit on 6 points of health though. He needs a good kill. One of these players on contact. They could line up for him if he times it well. Flag Flit! Evades it all and gets a 4K. A beautiful play. A beautiful 13th for FORZE.
Oh, you hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. But Flit, oh, I mean, the timing, the positioning, the crosshair placement, everything was on point there. Endpoint there in a 2-on-1. The flashbang comes over, and let's just have a look at this again.
Just...
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking.
It went too deep. That's the problem with that flashbang. If it had gone a little bit higher, a little bit further forward...
He would have full blind.
Yeah, he couldn't have hit that. Unbelievable. It's so unlucky for Endpoint is the worst part about it. They're going to look at that later and just think, what if? Just what if we placed that one flash a little bit differently?
Oh, man. And that sucks for Endpoint because, well... That was their opportunity in the 2-on-1 to really claw back these rounds. Now FORZE are up 13-11. And you've just got to think, you look at this buy from Endpoint and you go, there's no way they can win it. There's absolutely no way that they should win it. And I tell you what, FORZE are loving this B bomb site. They set themselves up for a lot of executions in this second half over at the B bomb site. And that's one thing that you can certainly notice from a team like FORZE is they're a team that are very heavy in terms of set pieces rather than a team that will default over and over again. They'll default for the beginning of the round and then they'll just set themselves up.
Smokes down, UMP and Deagle out, and Mighty Max actually does get a kill to open things up on the CT defensive. Getting out of dodge. Still pushing forward here for Almaza. He swings, takes him. Thomas with a trade back on the boost. Mighty Max swings in and Jerry gets him down. So 3 versus 3 situation. And Smokes on towards the cross. XE seeing the man. The bomb plot will still be received. Thomas low. Robin Surreal on 100, but Deagle and P250, and only one player has Kevlar. Not even Surreal able to rotate here in time. The CTs are suppressed, and now XE gets that kill. Looks in on Robin's position, but forces him back just by the sheer presence of the AWP. An Endpoint running out of time. This retake, it just shouldn't happen.
It certainly shouldn't. Endpoint, I mean, they can kind of go for it. They'll have enough money to buy into the next round, so it's not like they're wasting anything. I suppose you've got the Kevlar on the back of Robin. But just try to do some damage to this T side, see if they can limit the T economy, can be great. Well, they're going to try and do the best that they can, but 2 players are going to survive from the FORZE side just from that bomb radius. And 14-11, FORZE are getting closer and closer to converting their map pick in this best of 3 in the semi-final.
3 rounds for Endpoint to get back into contention and try and equalize against that FORZE side. Obviously, still 2 away from FORZE, and if they take this next round, then they basically won this map here. Like, Endpoint are going to be on a force back to try and get to OT. The money will not be there for the CT camp. Seen so few out of Force Buy and Eco victories, and look at the very heavy play. Loads of damage done. Crucial gets that first pick. He's overwhelmed by Jerry. Incendiary back. Robin seeing them rush straight out, gets a kill back of his own right, and FORZE putting everything behind what is almost a rush play from this T-side camp. Face Crack moving in. The bomb is isolated from his backup. If Mighty Max peeks in and gets this kill, or if someone finds him at the cubby area, then this could end up being disastrous for the T-side. He's 45 HP, tempting a face, will re-smoke, and smartly so.
Face Crack's in a really awkward position at the moment because he doesn't really have any help. Finally, XC Power's going to be able to round the corner out from long to give a little bit of assistance. And Robin, he's just stuck in the open at this point. He's been seen, but he takes down that bomb. Robin with a great hold so far at this A bomb side, but he's out of bullets, Jay. He's trying to reload. And will XC Power 1 versus 3 from him. And you've got to think with bomb in control of the CT side, this should not be winnable.
Mighty Max supporting his teammate, keeping them alive, keeping the A site protected, and now the AWP is left alone with not much that he can do. Checking out Graveyard, looking towards the A site. And the bomb dropped in the open, 35 seconds for him. And Endpoint looked to secure a fast one here. Big shot missed by him, and that's going to basically be it from here. There's no way left. He's got to save his weapon. He's got money in the bank, but just not to concede it back to the CT forces. And there's an AWP already dropped for them, so, you know, needs most, but just to keep those weapons away from the CT camp, the best play for them here.
Okay, Endpoint. Finally, they find some success in this second half. It's been 5 rounds in a row for FORZE. And this is what Endpoint need, just holding on at the moment, not finding it easy at all. And that was incredibly quick. That was one of the quickest rounds we've seen from FORZE yet. It really was like a rush. They took so quickly out towards long. Crucial found that opening. Robin does a great job of defending that A bomb site. And maybe for FORZE, they need to go back to what has worked for them in the past. Taking that banana control, establishing a lurk from Flit out towards the apartments, and executing to the B bomb site. Keep it simple, keep it smart, and keep it in your favor.
The rebuy for FORZE will now force them onto a very awkward stance in the money line. Endpoint could be on the verge of taking the lead, potentially even standings on the board. Nades down, AWP's up. XC's hoping to find something here. Face Crack. AK making his way downstairs. Smokes on. Incendiary is to be responded to by the T side. Pushing 2 paces of utility out towards both of the bottom sides at the same time. The CTs don't know where they're going, but FORZE haven't committed fully.
Slowing this down. XC just seeing if he can find a little bit of information over towards this banana position. And kits across the board for the CT side. Buying pretty much everything into this. A lot of control coming out from FORZE. They've taken banana, they've established the brackets control, they've forced Endpoint very passive in this A bomb site. But for the T's, it's back to the B bomb site. We've seen this time and time again from FORZE, and for the read coming out from Endpoint, they're going to rotate Surreal over to have a 3-man stack over at B.
Smokes up, 3rd player pushing in, aggressive for Surreal. He can't take any kills or damage. 1 player pops out though, Face Crack seen, nade onto his position. Oh, 5 HP, barely stays alive, but not for much longer. Surreal and Thomas meanwhile are cleaning up the rounds. XC will find a frag back. Surreal peeks in from Coffins, knows exactly where Flit is. 2 kills for him. Bombs dropped in the open as he gets a 3rd frag with 13 seconds to get the plant down on first now. Robin peeking up, Flit takes a challenge and a spray and a clutch for the man. FORZE shouldn't have won that, but Endpoint gave them all the 1v1s, and it's map point for the Russians.
And it's Flit again, man. We saw that 1 versus 2 with the AWP. This time around, he's alone at B. It's a 1-on-4 coming out from Flit, and they just give up easy 1-on-1 faces. Crucial so far out of position. He needed to wait for Robin to back him up. Why he's standing in the open like that, I don't know. And for Flit, he gets a fantastic spray transfer on the 2 players on site, and from there, that is a clutch coming through, and Endpoint giving up man advantages in clutch scenarios. They cannot let that happen.
And it may have thrown their chances of winning this map down the toilet. Deagle and UMP to highlight the buy with the rifles in check. Endpoint need to come up huge with these main weapons. You can see the contact plays are coming in from Robin. Robin here on the balcony. The Deagle standing. Needs to get this first kill, and fortunately, he does manage to do so here. AK drop for him. He can get that. That's a 5 versus 3 at least. Trades are still susceptible here for the T-side camp. And a minute to go. M4 peeking in, catching off XC, trying to take Jerry down, but the aggressive face ends up with Crucial losing his life. Flashes in, Thomas still holding. They are heavily tagged up, and they're going to rotate into the clutches of Mighty Max. This AWP here could do so much for him. Standing by towards Cross, Almaza first facer as soon as Max gets his first kill. Oh, the timing couldn't be worse. He backs up, the T-side is storming through. Flash in, he's going to get himself the cover. Scope in, doesn't catch the first player. Repeats, does get Almaza though. Drops that bomb, nades on site, takes him down. Plant to be secured in the 3v2 retake.
Oh, FORZE, can they hold it off once again? The bomb doesn't even get planted. Oh, it just does in time. And now Jerry, the in-game leader, needs to try and step up in this clutch. Can he bring it out? He can't. Endpoint pushing through the smoke together as a 2-man unit. And you've got to think, even for Mighty Max, even with the timing towards the top of Banana around that broken wall position, the fact that he falls back in time, gets a kills, those rotates came in so damn quickly off the back of information. And Endpoint, they're just holding on. 13 rounds to name.
Skin of their teeth. 2 rounds to go. Try to get to overtime against FORZE. 15-13. And the AKs, the AWPs, coming out for the T side once again.
It's a FORZE.
The AKs.
Like, they've got 2 Tech 9s. I don't know why they're not just half buying for the last round of the game. This is
trying
just
to win it out. I don't really know what they're going for here. Like, this is a very weird buy. All I know is that they've got a similar kind of buy to what Endpoint did, and to their credit, Endpoint kind of made it work in the last round.
FORZE, this time around, they're actually not taking banana control. So if Endpoint use their utility right, they can actually rotate 4 players over to A and get someone aggressive like Thomas with that MP or with that UMP. FORZE pushing the A bomb side players, very passive at the moment. A little bit of damage done to Jerry, not so much. And there it is. That's the aggression coming out from Banana that I was waiting to see from Endpoint.
Pushing aggressive, rotating that 4th player back to A's. That's where FORZE were going to set themselves up for. Incendio from Crucial responding to the smoke that will go down. He'll push his AWP ahead of it as well. Look for hard cover at the archway. Nades on, damage sustained. A flick goes better, however, for the AWP. The M4 standing. Surreal's going to spray blind through the smoke. Get Almaza as he sees the traces and knows where the player is. Him and Crucial are on 18 and 16 points of health. And the AK of Robin waiting. Timing is so poor for Endpoint, but he can still re-peek and get himself positioned. Crucial with the AWP shuts down Jerry. Looks for the next man of XC power. 3 kills to his name. And Flit left alone standing a 1 versus 5. He's out of the round.
And if he doesn't get a bomb plant, then FORZE have got no money going into the last rounds of regulation. You've got to think that we're going to go into OT here for the FORZE versus Endpoint game of this first map of the best of 3. And I tell you what, Jay, we have seen a lot of overtimes across the group stage in Malta Vibes, and we could certainly be going to one again. Look at the money for FORZE. $2,000. What can they buy with that?
Well, I mean, you highlighted that money line in the FORZE buy in the last round for a reason, and this is why it didn't work for FORZE. Therefore, they are on a very, very awkward stance and a tactical pause as appropriate because, hey, they need to figure out how on the hell they're going to be able to bring this over the line at 16-14. It's still possible, but with the FORZE buy, we're looking at, like, you know, a very sort of... How do I describe this? A very sort of, like, you know, awkward stance and very lower potential against the firepower, I think, of the Endpoint side.
It's going to be a difficult round, and you've got to think, you've got those Tech 9s out to back up with a single AK from Flit. It's probably going to be something pretty aggressive. They need to get up close and personal. They need to even try and recover a rifle. If they're able to, you know, take a one-on-one aim duel, pick up an M4 or pick up an AK from that CT side, that's what they'll be looking for. And for Endpoint's sake, one more round will take us to OT. And for FORZE, right here, right now, they can be the victors at 16-14. Let's see what the Force Spire's got to offer.
Set up here to the banana position. A lot of presence from the CTs and the T side as well. I mean, they aren't really aggressing towards anywhere, so they could be going to mid, but either way, just being met on the full force of Endpoint. Mighty Max will aggress. See nothing, fall back. The AWP of Crucial also get forced off by the flashes coming through. Ready for first players around this corner. They're going to go for a boost up here. This AWP could be in trouble if it does. Around that corner, lands a tag. M4 and Mighty Max overwhelmed by face crack. This could be the start of the end. With the AK of Thomas here with the crossfire, and the T's get that pick. They fall out of position.
Double pump. They're faking that they're actually leaving Banana, but they're actually going to continue. And you've got to think this AWP needs to be impactful. They need to get that re-smoke down in time. They don't have any mollies, but they've got 2 smokes to work with on the CT side.
Orb standing by. Armor's a first out. Big miss on the AWP. AK needs to go massive. He gets himself 3 kills. And XC gets the trade. 2-on-2. Thomas has bought his teammates a chance. It's Robin and Surreal. Last 2 players left on the bomb site. 1 player close, 1 player back. And face crack here with the old grill position. Standing by, Orb in, seeing one. Let us Tracers out here to the cross, seeing the shoulder bait. XC lands it, Surreal trades and doubles up and gets the 15th for Endpoint. We're going to overtime again.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime once again in the Malta vibes. Massive clutch coming out from Surreal, but you've got to think it's Thomas that brings that round back. The fact that he gets 3 kills, if he would have got 2, Jay, I don't think that retake would have been possible. That was a lineup on the...
That was a double headshot collateral on the last bullet of his spray.
Unreal.
That one play turned the whole thing around for Endpoint. Oh no, oh my goodness. Wow, call it lucky or call it skilled again. 15-15, we're in overtime. That is the bottom line of this. Endpoint have worked real hard to get to this position. It could have been disastrous at the last hurdle though. FORZE fighting for their map pick here, Dweg. A lot of pressure could be applied, and again, Endpoint have managed to beat FORZE on Inferno before. Back then, it was a 16-7 back in Home Sweet Home Cup number 7, about a month ago, a little over that. But going this far in the distance, FORZE certainly looking to try and make sure history does not repeat itself.
And you've got to think, absolutely, you know, the pressure's certainly on the back of this FORZE camp. You know, you get the mind games of, oh, what's happened in the past. This is their map pick. We're going to OT. And I don't want to say they'll be on, like, tilt factor, but there can certainly be some moments where, you know, players can maybe have a couple of arguments towards the end there. Oh, you know, if we would have done this, we would have, you know, been able to win that round, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to think going into overtime, you know, Endpoint, they're hyped up. They've had, I would say, not many clutch opportunities. I mean, you have a look for Flit, right? He wins a 1 versus 2 with that AWP. He wins a 1 versus 4 with that AK. For Endpoint's sake, they're thinking, if we just would have won those rounds, we'd probably win this game. So in their sense, they're probably feeling pretty positive to say that FORZE just got to OT.
MR3, 16K. And the odds,
Endpoint.
wow. Okay. I was not expecting that. I believe that this was going to be still dead set even going into this overtime. They were completely evened out odds. But Lootbet favor Endpoint. Do you favor Endpoint in this one, Dweg?
I certainly do. I've seen some really great stuff from them in the gun rounds. You've got to think as well how many rounds they lost in terms of half buys and ecos. We're not going to see that coming out, but what we will see is Crucial going down while the AWP of XE Power is going to strike onto the first.
Big stuff out from the FORZE camp to kick things off. Crucial down. Surreal picks up the AWP's mantle. Incendiary's coming in. Thomas And Max push up, nades on towards the wood stack. Damage has been done to several T-side players. They couldn't afford it. Max does get a double, a triple. And Thomas, still having utility of his own right, he'll fall back to hold a passive position. And then a few bullets with a HE, they've turned it to a 3 versus 2.
And Mighty Max only found 11 kills at the end of regulation, and you've got to think that's the biggest round we've seen from him yet. 3 incredible kills off the fact that FORZE won the opening man advantage, and FaceCrack's so damn low. They could shut this down, all just down to Surreal and Thomas.
Surreal going to take that first contact with the AWP facing against the flashbangs. They're still coming forward. Thomas is blind off, still blind spray, takes out the bomb planter, and Surreal supports him on Flit. So nicely done from those 2 players on the B side defensive. But again, as you mentioned, a big round from Mighty Max. Very awkward scenarios coming through from him with that wall bang, the nade on, and the tap to the 3rd player. But it is still going to be a 16th for Endpoint regardless. Going to take the lead here in this overtime.
And for Endpoint, they haven't really used too many tacticals. So if they, things start going awry from them, or they start finding a lot of success, we could see certainly a tactical pause coming out. Aggression coming out from XCPower. Now, we spoke about his hops a little bit earlier on in the series. He is very aggressive at the moment on the T side.
Once again, looking for the opening frags at a very common T-side angle, when you consider his aggression at the very least. Jerry, on the opposite end, going to be more passive. It's Thomas, the man that gets aggressive, and he makes it work. Swinging past the smoke, opening things up with the headshot as the rest of the T start to act. They're going to be without their main support man.
And this shuts this whole round down. It makes it really awkward now for the FORZE side to get back into this. There's so many players here from Endpoint over at this A bomb site. They're rotating a 4th player over. And for FORZE, you'd have to think, considering that Jerry went down, they can't rotate back towards Banana. They can try and potentially split him through CT.
50 seconds to the hit here. Max is going to fall back passive, expecting to be the next rotator out to the bomb site. They're expecting an A-site play, and they'd be right to assume this. Smokes on, nades to the back of Pit. 2 players on site, crucial. 3 players all in all here to the defensive. Surreal will end up falling down. Thomas still here towards the long position, waiting for Almaza. Takes him out of the action with Crucial dropping face crack. Suddenly it's Flit on 7 and FlexiPower on 97. 4 versus 2, 20 seconds standing. Crucial putting another smoke down to try and stall them, and still gets the blind shot through the smoke. Flit can return, but 2 kills on for the ace. 10 seconds, and again, such low HP. Thomas closing in from the graveyard area. We'll see the man quickly take him down, and 17 goes to the board of Endpoint.
Now, I can't do a Russian accent, but I can imagine Jerry being like, these damn Brits, what are they doing? Like, why is Thomas pushing the bottom of Banana with no support? He's got no flash, he's got no teammates to back him up, and it's just like, what? Like, it makes no sense why Thomas does that, and it catches Jerry completely off guard. They get the opening advantage, they stack the players into that A bomb site, and Endpoint have won 2 in a row. You take into account the back end of the rounds in that second half, this is now 5 in a row from Endpoint.
It may look to be 6 for a map point to their favor. Look how aggressive Surreal's going to get, but he gets punished for it. Almaza was ready for this. Nade standing by for Robin. It doesn't do as much damage against the T-side as he would have liked. Minute and 30 to the clock, and already it's a FORZE advantage, but they're not going to go rushing in off the back of it. And play very carefully around their stances. Go for the smokes up, face crack, flashed in, takes 1 man down. AWP Crucial on site. Can't land his bullets, can't land the player in mini pit, looking towards the gap pit. The nade's on towards him, does manage to land on face crack, looking for a second at point blank. Thomas falls. Oh, Crucial gets a 3rd, not quite the 4th. Exy, 2 kills to clutch this match with 2 kills of his own. 1 versus 1 for the 18th and 16th.
And it all just comes down to mind games. All down to mind games now. XCPower, he's actually going to plant safe into the site. Mighty Max, he knows exactly where he is.
XC swung in, has no idea, but he evades the damage, sprays through, trying to get that headshot in the incendiary to force him out. Mighty Max, does he know he's here on the box? Does he know that he's here to the corner? Bomb plant inside said corner, flashbang over. Max needs to make his way in relatively quickly. He's got the defuse kit in play, but time is ticking away. He's got a HP disadvantage as well, as XC utilizes that to his favor, gets 2 taps to the chest, and he gets 16 on the board for FORZE.
Oh, and you've got to feel for Endpoint. Crucial did so much work on the site. He missed a couple of early shots, but he recovers in the best of fashions. And unfortunately, the support's just not there. A massive clutch coming out from Power in the 1-on-2. And honestly, it just came down to mind games. They both knew exactly where each other were. Oh, FORZE. They just hold on with 1 round. And the odds, what? I don't know what's going on here, Jay. The odds just keep going back and forward. Endpoint aren't the favorites now.
Something tells me the API is broken again. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm probably wrong on that respect. I have no insights into that, but just with Endpoint being in the lead on FORZE's map pick in overtime, I don't think it would be that one-sided, but, you know, maybe I'm just not... I mean, I haven't done betting in a long time, so, you know, that's not my thing. Orbs in between Crucial and Power. AK's M4s. And passive again from the T side. Endpoint this time on the T side, playing carefully around the setup that FORZE have.
Great utility coming out from Endpoint, and Power's actually got a really nice line in towards Boiler. This could be the opening kill that FORZE are looking for. I say that, and actually Surreal, that was just a wide swing out from the apartments. That finds the opener, and now you've got to think all the pressure's on the back of FORZE. They don't really have a lot of information. Almaze is low. Power's taken a little bit of damage. They need to turn this back into a 4-on-4, and we might see some aggression for it.
Almaze does find a response on Thomas, at least into Banana. He ends up going down. The rest of the T stack up towards the A site play. You got Exy with the AWP in the back line, very similar positioning to Crucial. Got Face Crack inside the corner. Flashes in. Do they see Exy? They don't. The second flash keeps the man in the apartments blind. Goes up against Surreal, expecting him to be coming out sometime soon. 20 seconds, missing the flick, overcooking it. Flash is on site, damage done to the AWP in the backline. The M4 still here though, the flash timed well. Surreal does overwhelm. Exy still here, trying to frag away, and Almaza coming in to support. Exy's last man standing, taking out one, looks for Mighty Mac! Oh! The AK just about secures the frag. A bit of hesitation from the AWP there, and it costs FORZE in whole.
Oh man, Mighty Max, he had to rush it because there was just no time to work with. He needed to get up close and personal. And again, Mighty Max, he is, especially in OT, making some very impactful plays. And you've got to think from FORZE, they've got to win 2 in a row just to get to OT. Endpoint, they've got so much momentum. They've got the hype. One more round will do it for the UK squad.
Straight in for Exy. Oh, a blind shot on Crucial. Big way to start. Quick flicks, getting the hell out of dodge and doing damage to Surreal. That could have been so risky from his part, but the utility keeping everybody blind, and somehow the CTs are the ones that come out on top. Endpoint, quick to respond and rotate to brackets, rotate to the A site. 3 players there on the defensive for FORZE, and Endpoint are forced to slow down.
And they're just waiting for an over-aggression coming out from FORZE. But considering the fact that the Russian team have got a 5-on-4, you don't really expect that they're going to, you know, look for anything more aggressive. They can just play very deep into the sites, play the numbers game. And for Endpoint, it has to be an A commitment.
Smokes down from various choke points to try and ensure that Endpoint don't make their way up. Molotov in, Thomas is seen, but he evades the damage done by Face Crack. Robin and Mighty Max moving in from long, going to try and wrap around against them. The smokes, of course, keep them suppressed for the moment. The smoke's about to clear, though. Face Crack bursting up, trying to do damage, and Robin takes him down. Power still on the back of the bomb site. Only good for 1 kill. They've still got Flip there, and Thomas overwhelms. 2 players left for FORZE, and I have a feeling that they are about to concede this matchup to Endpoint. 3-on-2 on the map point round on FORZE's map pick. This retake just got dicey.
Almaze has got to do so much work. The NWP not quite going to connect, and that could be the opportunity back into the round, into the 2 versus 2. Thomas is able to take Jerry, and they know where Almaze is. He needs to get a move on. He needs to isolate some of these kills. And for Endpoint, they're just not peeking. Thomas is not peeking. Robin's not showing any information. They are trying to stay as hidden as possible for as long as possible. And there it is, 19-16. Endpoint have snatched the map away from FORZE on Inferno. And well, going into Dust 2, you've got to think everything points to the Endpoint side.
That has to be one of the biggest victories that I think Endpoint could take above the likes of Forza. Again, this is one of their most highly played and highly won maps in the map pool for the Forza camp. So seeing them go this kind of distance on this kind of a map, that's massive. And the fact that it took it overall is even better. You know, I mentioned before that Endpoint already took this map against them in the past, but I wasn't expecting it to go so far and to, you know, do it again, let alone, you know, in the same sort of one-sided fashion as they did before. It wasn't one-sided at all, I'll tell you that for free. But, you know, like just, again, 16-7 from that previous maps and 19 to 16 here on the first map of the series. And going into Dust 2, I thought it would be a challenge. With the way that Endpoint has shown themselves up, this could very well be their series to win.
Yeah, look, I mean, I certainly had a gut feeling that Endpoint were going to be able to put up a very good performance going into Inferno, and that's exactly what we saw. Thomas, in particular, he had a lights-out game. He looked very impressive. He was getting massive multi-kill rounds. You even just look at that, 29 kills in comparison to Exi Power. For me, though, I would have to say the MVP, at least in regulation, was Flit. You know, he was finding so much impact. He was clutching out rounds, but it really felt like he was extremely quiet when it came to OT. And unfortunately, that's the problem with overtime, is that you may be looking incredible in the first 30 rounds of the game, but if you can't show up in overtime when it really counts, you can lose it all from there. Even Mighty Max, the performance he made, you know, yes, he didn't get the most amount of kills in that series, but he really stood out for me in overtime. And I tell you what, Jay, for both of these teams, we knew it was going to be a close one. I didn't think it was going to be that close.
Well, it may not be so close on the series board here. We could be looking at a 2-0 for Endpoint. Dust 2 is coming up next. It is Endpoint's map pick. It is one of those maps that they have done particularly good on against Forza in the past. And when we come back from this very short commercial break, we'll get to decide whether the Brits will be in the grand finals. So do not go anywhere. Welcome back to Malta Vibes. We're into our second map of our semi-final between Endpoint and FORZE. If you just missed the first map, I know it's a really big caster thing to say, but go back and watch it because it actually was really, really good. For those of you who missed it, it was 19-16 to the favor of the Endpoint camp. A big upset as well because that was FORZE's map pick. They've lost their main way in, one of their best maps in the pool, and it was conceded to the UK side. Dust 2 could still be won by them. It has been a bit of an awkward one against Endpoint in recent times, but the last time they played this Dweg, it's not been a pretty sight. 16-8 the last time they played Dust 2 against Endpoint, and the time before that 16-2 to the favor of Endpoint. So the history for FORZE against this team on Dust 2, it's very, very spotty to say the least.
Yeah, look, it certainly is, and you've got to think for Endpoint. Yeah, look, it wasn't the prettiest of Counter-Strike that we saw from them on Inferno, but going into Dust 2, they'll be feeling a lot more comfortable. They'll certainly be feeling the momentum going their way. Like you said, winning out their opponent's map pick for map number 1. And for FORZE, this is going to be a bit of a struggle for them. Going into Dust 2, statistically, it's a decent map. It's not fantastic. They've played it 19 times the last 3 months. Endpoint have played it like almost more than double at 42. So you've just got to think from FORZE, you know, it's going to be a long road from here, and they need to tackle Dust 2 before they can even think about Train as a third.
Yeah, I think if you look towards Train this early on right now, then FORZE are going to be making a big mistake. They absolutely need to take this victory, and they need to put all their efforts into taking this victory first and foremost. Like, there's no messing around when it comes to looking towards further maps in the best of 3, especially when you're on the ropes being a map down already. And again, Dust 2 is not the worst map for them in the pool. Like, just to bring up some of the stats for you very, very quickly, they've got like a 0.5% win rate on it. They played it about as many times as Endpoint have played Inferno. Obviously, for Endpoint, they played it 42 times. So they've got like a wide array of results to pull from. And in general, the stats very similarly mirror each other in respect that they're both relatively T-sided. They've got relatively good offensive halves. And some of the opponents that FORZE have beaten on this map have been pretty decent, and the teams they've taken on against this on this map have also been pretty respectable of their own right. The problem for me is that when you take a look at those matches, they're not 100% confident in certain cases, and especially lately, they haven't taken on many tier 1 or tier 2 oppositions at all.
Yeah, no, they certainly haven't. One thing that's kind of a little bit strange about FORZE is it seems like they're so hit and miss on this map. Like, sometimes we see a 16-14 win against a team like Spirit or 16-11 against OG, but then they lose 16-1 to AGO, or they just get absolutely wrecked by AGF on this map. And you're like, how can AGF take a Dust 2 victory over them? So, look, jumping into the knife round, Jay, I think that we are going to see some struggles here from FORZE. If I'm going to be looking at any 2 players in particular, it's got to be Flit and Exy Power. They were having massive amount of impact on Inferno. They need to bring that forward, and they need to continue that going into Dust 2.
Continue going into Dust 2 if they want to stay alive here in Malta Vibes. Of course, to remind you, the Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, our home of gaming excellence. And this next map could well put Endpoint in the grand finals here. The choice aside to be taken by FORZE, I imagine they'll look towards the T side start. Their CT sides have been, a little bit hit and miss, as you mentioned in the past. And they'll need to work on some of themselves, especially to take away that early momentum swing for Endpoint if they can get onto the T side. I think that probably is the best thing that FORZE could do. They're going to opt to stay on CT, actually. Okay, that's... I don't think they've calculated that as well as I would have done, to be honest.
That's a little interesting. Certainly the stat line's kind of pooped towards the T side, but look, all to their own. And you've got to think for FORZE, certainly into the playoffs of like any event, they're going to come well prepared. So they certainly have something up their sleeve. But at the same time, Endpoint's probably been able to see a lot of it before, considering how many times these teams have faced off against one another. And for FORZE, for me, the only way that they can get back into Dust 2 is if they can get that AWP firing up. We have a look at the odds going in there for Lootbet. 2.05 for the FORZE side, 1.72 for Endpoint. If you do want to get involved in those odds, heading down to the links below the Twitch channel. And, do they check Flit?
Yes, they do. And Crucial starts things off on the right foot, but Exy and Jerry there for the trades. A 2-for-1, making it 4-for-2 as Surreal finds one response, but his teammates have all gone down. This pistol from Endpoint has already started going to Jello. Surreal's got the bomb on his back, up for a 4K clutch. Face crack's also right there at the longhouse. Surreal's got to check his right-hand side. Backs a turn. USP taps up the headshot. And a beautiful way to respond to the early control of Endpoint. FORZE get the pistol round.
Oh, that was very aggressive in the pistol round. We saw the underpass presence coming up, the lower tunnels presence coming out from Flit. They start to try and establish a crossfire out towards shore. And for FORZE, it's the intent of getting aggressive on the CT side, which really catches Endpoint completely off guard. And I'm even surprised that they're buying the issue here, considering they didn't get too many kills and they didn't get a bomb plant, Jay.
A heavy investment for Endpoint here. Bit overly heavy for my liking, but it is still going to be a force buy round. Endpoint love to go for the second force buys up. The Eagles Tech 9 scout out for Crucial. Going to try and land one of those opening kills down to that mid position. Unfortunately, not quite able to land them as effectively as he likes to. Missing out, but getting close. No tag so far on the CT camp, so FORZE for the most part get away unscathed.
And these MP9s, they want to try and get up close, but I say that Robin's actually found the opening kill, and that might try and force them quickly into the short position, but even that incendiary, that's going to give them a little bit of time for the CTs to get into the right positions to hold off this pressure.
Surreal and Thomas are very, very low. Flip with his SMG. He could do a ton of damage for his trouble. Flashes coming in. He's still playing close towards the edge of the wall. 3 kills for Flit as he transfers the spray and gets the USP kill on Robin. Face crack coming in from the backlines. Deals with Crucial in the mid position as well. And that force buy just gets absolutely decimated. So 2-0 for FORZE. Endpoint up for the full eco.
Oh, well, there you go. And Flit getting some really nice kills coming through. Great damage in terms of economy coming out from that MP9. And for Endpoint, they were successful in the early round. They found that opening kill, but they really couldn't go any further than that. And 2-0 start coming out for the FORZE camp. And for Endpoint, not too many upgrades coming out, Jay. So really shouldn't expect too much work to be done to the Endpoint side.
Exi Power taking out Robin to start things off, eventually getting that headshot in. And Thomas, instead of finding a face crack there at the car position, one player does fall to the SMG, and the Deagle can't quite get Flip. 41 HP, he eventually does fall to the Deagle headshot, so a bomb plant can be secured for an eco round. Be a pretty decent pickup so far here for Endpoint. A third frag will do even more damage. They might just find it here on Jerry. Crucial's timing is awful, though. He ends up taking damage, and so we're getting forced back here. They know exactly where he is, and they can just hit the bomb defuse, I should say, from the CT camp. And there you go, 3-0 for FORZE, but again, damage done by Endpoint. A bomb plant to be secured, meaning the buy into round 4 will look very confident from the T side.
And that bomb plant actually allows that AWP to come out for Crucial. I've got to be honest, I didn't even think that they would get away with a couple of kills. They got 2 in a bomb plant, so they can certainly be happy about that. Getting that AWP straight into the hands of their main man. Now, Flit and Exi Power, you spoke about a little bit in the pregame about potentially the double AWP setups coming out from FORZE. This time, we didn't see it at all on Inferno, but we're seeing it in the early stages of Dust 2, coming out straight away.
Fast players coming in from Endpoint in general, they've just gone very quickly into the mid control and onto the short control. Now out to the mid doors here for the T's, and look at Jerry trying to aggressive his own right, boost up from one of his teammates. Flit's going to look over the smokes and Endpoint back off, eventually facing so much utility that they just can't seem to crack the mid to B play. Jerry waiting for that smoke to clear. As soon as it does, Surreal could be in deep trouble. It's all a case of timing in the mid play. Meanwhile, Endpoint looking on towards the tunnels, looking for a fast B execution here. Oh, Almazar almost lined up too. Crucial takes him down. Jerry can respond to Surreal, so as they make their way onto the bomb site, it'll be a 4v4 retake.
It's going to be a really tough one coming out from the FORZE camp. And one thing you'd certainly notice there is, oh, hang on a minute, let's just see if they're able to deny that bomb. They'll probably still go for this, but Crucial can really shut this down from the tunnels position. The AWP not quite going to connect, and the follow-up actually goes the way of Exi Power.
Waiting for Crucial to reface, and it worked well for him. Thomas going down towards Car. Mighty Max caught out. One pick found by Robin, but responded to so quick by Exi. And it's a 4-0 start for FORZE. So quick and deadly on the B retake. That was impressive from the Russians.
Well, one thing that certainly goes to mind for Mighty Max is, considering how much utility came out through mid, the only reason a City side would use that much util on at least the T's establishing a quick mid to B is to stop the rush coming in, because they only had a single defender. And that's why we saw Endpoint. They slow it down. They were able to isolate the single player in the bomb side, but the retake was so damn strong from FORZE. And you're right, they didn't slow it down. They didn't set themselves up for retake or to use utility. It was quick and it caught Endpoint off guard.
Double up start coming out from FORZE, and you talk about how very little they use this. They got the money very early on to go for this play, so they're going to just absolutely decimate as many as they can. Orb in for Crucial, trying to check out the main bomb site. He doesn't see anyone towards Goose. He didn't see the player that peaked up aggressive. Endpoint playing much slower than their previous rounds here. They're trying to isolate an overly aggressive player from FORZE. They're looking for information, and they almost concede that kill, but Exi gets away at 14 HP.
Endpoint, at least they've established the long control, but look at the amount of players that are here over to this A bomb side. FORZE rotated the whole damn camp over to this A bomb side. There is absolutely no one on B.
And I have a feeling that's about to be read by Thomas. They put a lot behind this A site take, but as he creeps into the tunnels, he's going to see no CT resistance. The bomb on the back of Robin is making their way in towards the B bomb site. If Mighty Max can get a kill back here, or at least try and make some noise, then they may be siphoned off from the rotation. They may not even want to go for a rotate in the first place. 35 seconds. And the last few seconds of this round could become the ones that turn the tide. Smokes up, they know what's going on here. Nade to do damage to Crucial, but the T's going to make their way splitting into the B bomb site. Mighty Max strikes on long, takes out the first. Exi on 14 HP, but he doesn't take the swing on the big green cone. They'll secure the plant and be a 4 versus 5 retake favor of Endpoint. FORZE may even consider the save here.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen an over-rotation for the B bomb site like that. Endpoint go B, they're like, hang on a minute, there's no one here? This can't be right, surely. That was strange. That FORZE put so many players to the A bomb side. The B is completely undefended. The closest player is Flit in CT, and once he gets smoked out, he's saying, boys, I can't do anything.
And the first on the board for the Endpoint side. FORZE are forced to save their weapons. Of course, very heavy investment round there. So, you know, as you mentioned, Colin to double up setup if they can. They will be able to do so. So a rebuy should come through. But yeah, mostly down to mistakes from FORZE on the tactical basis here. I don't know what caused them to rotate so much, because I don't remember there being like a massive amount of utility there. But something to inquisit the IGO a little bit later on. But now FORZE have got to just move forward with that mistake, knowing they've considered a round back to Endpoint and try recover it from here.
Long corner smoke coming out from Robin while they set themselves up for at least a bit of presence out towards the upper tunnels. If they can get a pick from Crucial with this AWP, that could be the opener they need to go quickly into the B bomb site. Ooh. It looked like he was going to try and take the shot too.
You could just feel his finger moving up on the trigger, just like, oh, I'm so ready to click this, but just held back for a moment. Unfortunately, he didn't fire away, because that would have given info, and I don't think he would have gotten the kill. It was a few pixels off the head. Endpoint do establish their mid control off the back of concealing tunnels. Smokes down for the AWP, and Crucial with his own orb strikes on Jerry. Frag found. Surreal at the edge of the smoke, take the second kill, and now they spread the CTs thin across the line. Almaza is expecting a mid to B play, but from tunnels as well is going to be his main concern. Is never mind. Surreal is the big man to get the frag. It's a 5 versus 2. This is a round for Endpoint.
And here we go. We got off to a little bit of a slow start from Endpoint, but this round in particular is really nicely done. They don't even really take any damage. And you've got to think for FaceCrack and Exi Power, they're going to try and hold on to their weapons out towards long. Robin heard those footsteps. And at least it gives away the information right. Both players are towards long. We can go hunting if we want. The thing is, they don't want to waste too many lives.
They don't want to waste too much money, I think, is the main thing for them. Look around this corner. Thomas expecting Face Crack to be there. That's a big, big kill to find. New York left alone. Takes out Max. They have the info they're working with. Players will make their way up and over. Surreal missed out upon. And alongside Thomas will be able to shut down that final player. 3 kills for Surreal. All 5 weapons taken out of play. Still money to force invest for FORZE. I think Exy might be looking to drop a rifle. What's the prospects in this round for the CT side?
Well, I mean, they're going to go for the full buy investment. They've certainly, with the amount of money that Exy Power has, he's able to drop over 2 rifles. Actually, no, he dropped over a single M4 and bought himself an AWP. But you look at the buy, it's not great, but at the same time, you don't want to just give up the economy game to Endpoint by just going for a half buy. So I like the intent here coming out from FORZE, but it's quite a risky play considering how much they've invested in this round. And it's out towards a quick mid to be once again from the T side.
Back to the fast styles of play from Endpoint. They've made it work well on the default passives. M4 will move forward. Sees head from Soul, okay. From Almost, it does get Surreal. Flit gets Mighty Max in the interim. The AK looking for a spray back, but he does return to a 3 versus 3. Flit has got himself a 2nd kill, but not a 3rd. Thomas to return back to evens in a 2-on-2. Got to get that bomb to the bomb site. The SMG of Face Crack is pushing up. He could find Crucial right here. He's going to hear all these footsteps and jump faces. The M4 is going to call the info back out. Spray through, does damage, takes the kill. Thomas is pinned in the corner, and Jerry will shut him back down. And, well, the round that Endpoint decided to take quickly is the round they lose in whole.
And forget having a calendar. We should start a tally on how many of these half-buy, force-buy rounds that Endpoint have lost. This has got to be 5 now over the course of both Inferno and now Dust 2. But, well, you do have an opportunity to get some nice codes on your hands from our fantastic partners of Hellcase. Malta V at 15 will give you a 15% refill bonus, and Malta V for a little bit of a cash injection. And honestly, Jay, that honestly, for me, seems like the biggest weakness for Endpoint is dealing with these force buys.
Dealing with the rifles as well. Look at Exy with that kill on Crucial. Refacing and notices a player there towards the mid-doors, but does end up losing his life. Flit there for a trade. So 4 versus 3, favor of the CT camp. The M4's going to make their way across the cross. Grab that orb for Flit. Just let the T's fall back out to position here on the A bomb site. They've got Jerry alone, standing alone on the defensive. That orb's got to get there and try and work with this awkward CT angle. Molotov's in jump facing, but not getting the frags. Flash over, Thomas will get taken out. 2nd player spotted and sprayed. No kills for Mighty Max. He's got to get that bomb to the bomb site. Robin's got to face around the corner, get the trades, and Face Crack can respond. So it's all left to Max. 1v3. Oh, he's made noise. They know where he is now. This round should be over. He'll spray, he'll get 1 kill, but there's no other options for him.
And just trying to go for a bomb plant honestly might not be the worst option in the world. Is he going to back off from A and see if he can make his way out through mid? He's got a couple of options. He's certainly got a variety. Oh, the timing though. Honestly, if he would have just held that angle rather than jumping up, he probably wins that fight onto Flip. But that's the thing, in a 1 versus 2, timing just comes down to so many different elements. And for FORZE, they're looking pretty set at the moment on this city side of Dust 2. They're really taking the fight from Endpoint, and I'm getting glimpses of how Endpoint were performing on the T side against Onerous only a few days ago, Jay.
Starting to look concerning. This was the one thing I was terrified about. Oh, and look at Exy with the orb, the bait in against Crucial as his player, his teammate crossed past the mid doors and just shut him down instantly. 5 on 4. And FORZE don't even have a good buy. They've got 2 SMGs in on this one. Face Crack will try and make the best of it against Mighty Max, but Max will get the trade back to a 4 versus 4 scenario. Surreal going to try take down the player on A's, force Jerry into a very awkward position. Indeed, pushed into Mighty Max's angle, so therefore the A site can see a plant.
FORZE might even just kind of opt to go for the save here. They're at a man disadvantage. Yes, they're pushing the upper tunnels, but they're locked out of this A bomb site, so this should be a 3rd round going to the Endpoint side. Okay, let's see for FORZE whether there's any kind of backup here. Endpoint, it certainly seems like after that 4-0 lead, they've just been getting a few rounds here and there. Not the cleanest, but at least trying to keep themselves in the game. And you've got to think on Dust 2 on the T side, they've got to get at least 7 or 8 rounds against a team like FORZE.
This will be a 3rd. So they're going to get close enough. Bit of a way to go at this early stage, or mid stage, I guess, in the half. On to round 10, of course, the buy should be pretty confident from the T side. Not so much for the CTs. Again, they had 2 SMGs to go into that round with, so saving their weapons will be able to manage the economy somewhat here, but still going to be a very awkward stance for the buy. So FORZE getting most of their rifles out, but limited on utility sets. The fuse kit's only on 3 players. Lack of head Kevlar, which is fine given the AK situation. Out towards the long control here is where they'll push most of their forces. Thomas reads this, so he won't even take the face for the opening kill.
And you can certainly see that even just the playstyle from Endpoint, it's a lot more passive after these rounds are just being shut down. Thomas gets just completely blind by Robin's flash. And from there, it's an opening kill coming out from FORZE. And you've got to think, look at the way that they've been able to set themselves up to keep going for kills.
That a boost up from the blue box? I think it might have been. So Real takes that kill towards the mid position anyway, so that's a opening frag for Endpoint. Of course, respond to the initial one against Thomas. All versus 4 situation. Make their way towards the mid position again. The B side is relatively open, but the CTs will get back there faster, so the B side can't press in and just walk straight for the bomb plant. To face a bit of resistance at the very least, but I don't think B is going to be the play here, Dweg.
It certainly doesn't look like that's going to be the case unless they go for a fake short commitment and fall back down and try and split him through mid. But Exy Power, oh, I like this angle. Very far aggressive. If he just goes a little bit further, speed, easy kill, but he can't capitalize on that first. At least he escapes in time.
Box scope in. Oh, what a flick. Instantaneous from one position to Mighty Max. And now looking for Crucial, but Surreal takes him down. So 3 versus 3. The plant can be secured. Open for sure. Endpoint love planting open for sure. And the post-plant position is now to ensue. These smokes down. Surreal pushing up as Crucial keeps his eyes on. The real pressing at the Mets to the smoke. He's going to wait for them to pop their way out. The flashbang could come through and it could catch him blind, but they might not check behind themselves as Crucial lands that AWP pick. Surreal's going to get out of dodge. And the CTs look to do the same. This is going to be a 4th for Endpoint. FORZE saving the AK and M4.
I'm not exactly sure that Surreal was actually trying to drop down into CT. It looked like he was trying to just get on the edge of short where you're not quite seen when you peek out, but you're far enough away, and that's what he was lining up, but accidentally dropped into CT. But one thing in particular to keep an eye out for Endpoint is the fact in that 3-on-3, Jay, they didn't try and look for the fights. They smoked off short. Now, what they could have done is held onto their utility and maybe try to flash their way into short to taking that control, but instead, it's a little bit more passive. It's waiting for the CTs to come to them. So it's just a very different style of post plants that we saw from them on Inferno, now going into Dust 2. It seems like they're a little bit more passive and not as eager to try and take the fights.
Well, quite a great shot there from Crucial. He tried his best. Taps up from the CTs, unable to find this AWP down the suicide position. Gonna go ahead and support the T side as they make their way towards A. There's 2 rifles in FORZE, but no one else is brought up, and the first rifle goes down as the opening kill. Robin taking Jerry as he aggresses too far down mid. And now the CTs basically left with their mid and tunnel stack. Endpoint making their way towards A. And this round is already over here. There's nothing FORZE can do. Maybe could stack in, maybe could get some exit frags with the pistols and gain some rifles. The back of this eco. The M4 for face crack, that most certainly is going to be an option. And the USP has seen Robin. Robin will take him down. Look for face crack with a nice triple. Nice and efficient from this man. But again, they're lacking in Kevlar. They're lacking in overall firepower. So 4 kills on for the ace. If it gets Almas, that'll be great. But again, so much for an anti-eco, you know?
Yeah, I mean, bit of confidence coming up for Robin, you know. If he gets an ace, then congrats to him. But it looks like Almas is just seeing if he can hold on to that AK, bring it into the following round. Ooh, that's a little bit disappointing, that is.
After he did so well, man.
Yeah.
Might round out the 5 kills.
Oh, well.
Ah, well.
Better luck next time.
Real. Oh, he also goes down as well. So that's a little bit of lost investment there for the Endpoint side. Should be able to rebuy anyway, so might be too much of a worry at this stage in the game. Maybe could hurt them with future rounds, but honestly, I don't think so. And the bottom line for Endpoint still going to be that scoreline, a fifth to go back within one of FORZE's lead here. So, you know, they've achieved everything that they can at this stage. Go a little bit further on this T side. Potentially gain the lead, potentially gain the half advantage for Endpoint. That would just be great.
Oh, great nade from Thomas onto Almazer out towards the B tunnels. And that takes him so low early on. Flash coming out towards mid, doesn't blind Flit at all, but somehow the T's actually win out that fight. How do they find 2 kills there? That is just insane. And Almazer's got so much to do. Oh no, it's all going wrong. After a 5-on-3 advantage for the Endpoint side, the crossfire being set out through CT. How do FORZE bring that back, man?
With great difficulty, but also fantastic positioning. You can watch these kills again. Almazer with his 2 picks, and the low HP players lined up for an easy spray from FaceCrack. Oh, that was disaster for Endpoint. As you mentioned, it was going so well, 5 versus 3 and everything, but double orbs back out for the FORZE camp. And Crucial, wow, just stopping short of the mark and getting that kill on the mid position. Unfortunately, nothing going right now for the T side. The nades won't even do the same amount of damage. FORZE are going back to their passive positions. They're just going to wait out the round, take apart Endpoint, just like they did in the last one.
Oh, even just some of the confidence out through mid. The mid players in particular of Cyril and Robin, I've been very impressed in terms of confidence. The fact that Cyril just wide swings the AWP like that. The thing is, a lot of the time though, even with these mid plays, they don't have a lot of support. At least this time around, they gain onto that advantage. They hold on to it. And for FORZE, even Jerry's taken quite low. Just a couple of bullets will take him down.
Once again, Endpoint starting things off on a good start.
Ooh.
Can they follow suit?
Oh!
XC does connect. Does get Thomas in the end. Couldn't quite catch him, even though his crosshair was trailing there for a good 2 to 3 seconds. Surreal struggling against the short control, but Mighty Max is there to bail him out. Not able to do the same to Almazer, though. They're going to rush their way back. Almazer could be in with so much. He gets a second kill and evens the situation to a 2 versus 2. They will concede the B-bomb site. They should concede the bomb plant. I say that. Jerry still could swing in from the new B door. The smoke goes down. The flashers go over. They make their way towards site. Jerry evading that flash despite being so close to it. But Robin does get the bomb down.
And it all really comes down to Crucial. He needs to hit this shot with the AWP. It's so impactful. And there it is. Jerry in a 1 versus 2. And he's now made noise. They know exactly where he is, on towards the side. He's got to try and deal with 2 players. And Robin's just making this so awkward, repositioning around the side. And another round going to Endpoint. That actually resets the money line. Yes, XE Power can buy an AWP, but no one else can buy rifles. And, well, he does buy an AWP. What is with FORZE in these buys, man? Like, honestly, why are they forcing this?
I mean, it didn't make that much sense previously, but they did make it work over on Inferno in some of the crucial matches. So, you know, let that be what you think it would be. Robin, 36 HP on the start here. Endpoint, unfortunately, not getting off on the right foot. FORZE also taking damage with their pistols out. I mean, it's overall more impact for a lot less, well, not less overall investment here for the FORZE side. AK looks for that first kill on Surreal, though takes damage again, but not that much against Almazer, and doubles up to take out XC Power. So 5 versus 3, and now it's all pistols across the CT board.
I get so confused sometimes with FORZE's buy. It just makes absolutely no sense why they're forcing that. But, I mean, they do what they do best. This is actually kind of cheeky. So, Surreal said that the B bomb site's open, but Flit's behind him.
Does catch Surreal. Gonna focus here on the long controls. The only B player has been taken out. Second smoke's down, flashes over a big gap for the Tees to cross. Well, that allows Flit a kill. A CZ bursts in, but they 5-7 to the backline. She gets the 2 kills on long. Now suddenly it's Mighty Max left alone, a 1 versus 2. And well, we've talked about that force by working. It may well do the same right here. Max checking CT. Molotov landing on the bomb site directly. That may have been a missed molly. Looking on short, they're both going to come from long. The AWP of Flit got everything to do. FaceCrack, if he can get close, he can do the damage, but he's got the defuse kit. He's got to stay alive. Max spots in, sprays through. Can't get the second frag. 3 kills for FaceCrack, and a defuse coming through for FORZE.
6 eco losses we've seen from Endpoint across the 2 maps in this series, and it's just unacceptable. It is just, you can't say anything about it. The fact that they're able to get a 5-on-3 advantage, things look so great. They take the AWP out of play, and somehow Flit comes up from lower tunnels, picks up that AWP, takes the reel back in as he rotates into the site, and just... It's disappointing because you've got to think if they clean up their act in terms of these ecos, then they could be so far in the lead.
A half advantage gained by FORZE off the back of their efforts. See, the buy-ups of both teams are going to look awkward AF. Mighty Max finds that opening kill on Exy towards Shore. Does not see the second player that's right there. The first AWP has dropped. FaceCrack is right there. The wallbang coming in from Flit. They do check this, but FaceCrack gets the kill on Mighty Max. Falls back out at 11 HP. FaceCrack just going to reface in instead, actually. Thomas, the bomb plant down. Armors is there with the FAMAS. Is it going to boost up? I think it's going to get boosted up by Armors here. No, they're going to put FaceCrack instead. Jerry takes out Robin. FaceCrack going to pop his head up, take the M4 kill. 4 versus 2. And again, broken buys here for the CT camp. And FaceCrack does it all. 3 kills for the man. And a 9th to the board of FORZE to close out their CT half.
And honestly, that's a really great half coming out from FORZE. We saw the double AWPs having a massive amount of impact. And, well, 9-6 up, you've got to think, if they can win pistol, if they can get the momentum they need, considering the fact that statistically they find more rounds on the T side, that is a very, very stellar performance on CT. Oh, those odds have changed.
How your friends abandon you.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, look at that, 1.27 for FORZE now. Oh. Those are some damn good odds over at Loopbet. They really are.
If you want to get involved in those odds, then you can click the banner under the Twitch channel. You can get 10 free CSGO spins and up to 100 euros on your deposit. Get involved in multi-vibes via the best way at Loopbet. Smoke down for Jerry. Double flash defuse for Mighty Max. That's the utility players of both sides. Default pistols and Kevlar across the entire board. And Surreal's going down first. Thomas will make sure he's going down swinging. His armor's up. Casualty next up here. The boost coming back in towards the bomb site. They're struggling to get Thomas up there. The T's have backed off a little bit. FORZE may consider other options.
I'm kind of surprised that they are. I mean, they do have a smoke, so they've got an option whether they get next smoke, Xbox smoke down, or like they do have options. But the fact that they've already committed to this long presence and getting so much control, you could certainly expect that they're going to commit. They've got a late lurk coming out from FaceCrack towards that short position. Great shot from Thomas. And that actually gives the man advantage over to the Endpoint lineup.
Taps up, 3 versus 3. FaceCrack gets Thomas next forward here. Crucial on bomb site, dealt with by Jerry, who doubles up on Mighty Max. And suddenly Robin is left alone. 1 versus 3. Berry's on 1 HP. He could be the most susceptible trade of his own right, but the defuse get out of play for the man. He's now known. And this is going to be 10 on the board for FORZE. Endpoint, unfortunately, suffering here on Dust 2. Their own map pick. It was questionable, and this is exactly why here. USP, can't do the damage. Double digits for FORZE.
And I'm really scared now for the Endpoint side. You look at this map and you think it should not be at this kind of a scoreline. FORZE have certainly done their homework. They've looked very dominant. They have not really given too many rounds over to that Endpoint side. And they're going to force the issue. And you've got to think here, they lose this FORZE are going to be up 12-6.
Endpoint tagged up early on here. Trying to take a lot of stock in their first map performance against this. Oh, native Robin starting things off on FaceCrack. Kicking it over to the longhouse. And FORZE will fall back an early on, but Endpoint forced by to try replicate their results against this FORZE side. They first took each other on Dust 2. It was 10 rounds in a row for Endpoint CT side, so you channel those inner sort of previous experiences. And they're doing all right here in the force buy round. They've gone 2 frags.
Very successful. They've been able to pick up an AK from Mighty Max. And now you think for Forza, how do they bring this back? They're in a 3-on-5 disadvantage. They don't have a lot of utility. They've only got a smoke and a flashbang to use. It's going to have to be a mid to beast play by the looks of things, and just some raw aim duels. But even for Endpoint, they're now stacking 2 players up from this B bomb side, and it's the scout that's there for Crucial.
Robin's going to hear those footsteps. Crucial tapping away. Good kill for Robin. Deagle goes ham. Traded back by XC. The UMP. Thomas swings in. Crucial instead gets those kills. But Robin, the hero that Endpoint needed, stepping up at the right moment. And a big force buy victory for the CT camp.
And that's huge. That honestly puts Endpoint potentially back in the game. I certainly would have said they lost that round. They've just lost so much momentum. They could have just let this Dust 2 map slip and just taken it straight to a third. But now that they've won that force buy, it gives them an opportunity to claw these rounds on CT. Jay, you just mentioned it, the fact of how many rounds we saw from them in a row on CT side when they faced off against each other and a little bit earlier in their last matchup. That could be the opportunity to be able to replicate. And off the back of this buy from Forza, they have to force. They're on double eco status. They're going in for the B split.
Nades on. That's a lot of damage. The SMG doesn't get the kill though. Second smoke's up, flashes over 2 players on the B bomb site. Could get overwhelmed, especially as the headshots come in. Surreal's a dead man. And Crucial and Thomas have to save. The fast mid to B play relied on the CT player to get the kills, but only the HG damage. And FaceCrack and Almazar aren't even dead. I can't believe Endpoint conceded that round.
That's insane. That is just, man, you're right. I can't believe they conceded it. That was so quick coming out from Forza in the B split, and just the damage that gets found. And you've just got to think for Endpoint, they've done so much work to be able to convert the force buy in the second round after pistol, and now they've lost the follow-up. This has got to be like 6 or 7. I can't even remember how many rounds we've seen of Endpoint losing to force buys. It's been too many at this point. Way too many.
Tactical pause for Forza this time. Would have thought this would have been a tactical for Endpoint instead, because, you know, they're the ones on the back foot and currently being decimated by the T side of their opponents. Man, it has not been a fun time to be Endpoint in this map up. Contrary could be said over on Inferno, but just 7-11. And at least they get the moment's respite to discuss things as well, but just this buy up here, it's like the question is, how many options do they have?
Yeah, they don't really have a lot. You've just got to think, maybe you can get Thomas firing up, but you even look at the kills across the board for the Endpoint side. Robin's been doing a pretty sensational job of at least being consistent, but no one's really popping off from this Endpoint side. And going into round number 19, the force back from Endpoint, and look at the aggression out towards Long. It is so fast out for the T side, but it actually goes the way of the CTs. Crucial and Thomas working together, a 5-on-3. They can't lose this.
Jerry will try change his fortunes, making his way up to the short position. The Deagle of Robin ready to roll some heads out. Also got some mid control from the scout. Surreal got flicked. Oh, what a flick to the head. Oh! And the second kill. And now FaceCrack stands alone. 1-on-5. M4 with the bomb on his back, facing in against Crucial, will drop the man. But to get the bomb plant fending off the rest of the CTs, that is a tall order.
FaceCrack, what can he do here? He's on for the ace at this point. 1 versus 5 attempt, now 1 versus 4, and he's got a bit of a cheeky off angle to work with, but with that molly spreading and the spam coming through from Robin, Endpoint, clean up house. Those shots from the scout from Surreal, what was that?
The round winner is what it was. From there was no chance, absolutely no chance of FaceCrack to win it. The start was fantastic. The mid-round was beautiful as well. 11-8. Endpoint trying to claw their way back into this game. We'll see the buys coming through. You can watch these shots again from Surreal. The second one was a wall bang, like little mini flick with the mouse, you know? Like one of those really difficult ones that just somehow resets back to position. And it worked beautifully for him.
Okay, well, every time we sleep on Endpoint, it seems like they've got an answer, but no, that's not the best of starts. Again, we've seen how quick this long aggression's come out from the T side. Yes, they've done a fair bit of damage onto Jerry, but the short commitment, no one knows about Almaze, and no one's even checking the position. And when this round's over before it started, Thomas has to do absolutely everything. And you'd have to think, yeah, this is over. Mighty Max and Surreal have to just try and save. How did Almaze run up short without anyone knowing?
Endpoint are getting really complacent when they claim these rounds back. Like, yeah, we took one off you boys, but then they just don't follow it up. They hesitate. No one watching mid, no one able to cover that off. You know, they put all their attention to the long position and the longhouse face. And then they just absolutely wreck what Endpoint had to work with. And that's such a shame. After such a good round, such a clutch round there from the weird force by upgrades. 4 rifles come in, now they've got to save an SMG and an AK because there's no way they're going to be able to do anything on the retake. Yes, Flit is low, but that's it. 12-8, FORZE engaged in a full-on war of attrition against Endpoint. You must imagine the force buy's got to come through. And they should drop some M4s and such, get some decent rifles out. But they have to win a round, they have to follow it up and start bringing themselves back within the deficit.
Oh my, this is just down to the wire, and for FORZE, they're getting closer and closer to round 16. Again, we've seen the long challenge coming out from the CT side. They bring so many players over, but FORZE, they change it up. They've gone quick aggressively out for long, probably the last 2 or 3 rounds in a row. This time around, they just give it up to the CT side.
Mid control established, very much more passive from Endpoint. Got Robin to hold the CT spawn again with his FAMAS. Goes so passively for this one as well. There's only one player defending on the B bomb site as well. If Robin can't control his position, then suddenly he's going to be in a very awkward stance, and he does get that first kill, but it's traded back by Jerry. Low HP grabbing the orb, 60 seconds. They go towards B, then Surreal's got to have to do everything.
And you think if Surreal gets taken down without finding a couple of kills, it's probably just going to be an instant save coming out from Endpoint. The rotators are just not there in position. Yeah, there's a player out towards CT of Mighty Max, but even for him, he's got to have a really tough ask. And oh, the timing on face crack, this could be everything. This could be absolutely everything if he finds the opener. And there it is.
There's Surreal, only man standing on the B bomb site, and they're going to rotate away. They're going to go back to the A bomb site. They're going to draw their attention away from the short position, which is exactly what Crucial's going to be left with. A flashbang over. They know that he's down there somewhere, facing against Almaza. He gets the kill alongside face crack. So now Surreal's just got to stay alive at this stage. FORZE go to unlucky 13, but certainly lucky given the scoreline deficit. And Endpoint just don't have enough money to work with. They have to go eco. I think the loss bonus will conduce it to be a buy up in the round afterwards. By that point, we're looking at a 14-8, you know, assuming FORZE win the rounds.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confirmed now that FORZE are going to take this map. I just don't see there being a way that Endpoint can bring this back. They certainly have just not really gathered any kind of momentum in the second half. The only rounds they've won have been split, not backed off from one another. And you're right, you know, the money game, they have not been able to keep on top of it. And Surreal, yes, he's able to save an AK over at the B bomb side, but they can't really force the issue. And they're going to get 2,400 in the next round. I mean, even that, for Mighty Max and Thomas, they still don't really have enough money. So this honestly could be a force buy coming out from Endpoint.
The half buy in general for the CT side. Mostly eco again, just with the upgrades coming across that board. And tunnels control coming in from Surreal. Ready for the mid-aggressive face. Catch Almaza, he could catch Exi, it all comes at the time. And when does he face get that headshot on the first man? Another T-side player there to swing on Jerry. Surreal's going to get out of dodge. He hears them rushing forward. He could get through. He gets away with Surreal, and Robin will take back one. Face crack entering towards the B bomb site. Gets Mighty Max in mid. a second AK to work with a 3 versus 3. They're going to go for a retake.
Yeah, well, they're going to get enough. Well, they're going to get money to buy into the next round anyway, so they might as well just try and go for it. See if you can limit the economy for the T side. You've picked up 3 big rifles, and let's see if they can work with it. Not a great amount of utility to work with on the CT side. A couple of mollies, and XE Power. He's just trying to lock down this angle.
Yes, Thomas indeed. Mac 10 in against Crucial. X actually is the man that gets that kill with a secondary flick back, and Face Crack deals with Robin. So not to be in this case, and the rifles fall back into T-side hands. No major damage done. And in general, FORZE have got such a decent amount of money that I don't even think any major damage would have been done to the economy, assuming Endpoint were able to get themselves 3 kills. The rifles in for the CTs, the M4's coming out, the UMP for Mighty Max. Another tactical called by FORZE here, probably letting Endpoint stew on this current situation while simultaneously trying to figure out how we go. Just 2 more rounds to go past the finish line.
And if I'm thinking of this correctly, we've only seen a single tactical from Endpoint on the first map and none on the second. I believe we saw the tactical at like round 3. To start Inferno off. Outside of that, I don't remember Endpoint taking a single tactical, whereas for FORZE, they've been using them across Dust 2, across Inferno, and you've got to think for Endpoint, this is the perfect round to bring out a tactical. You've got a UMP on the back of Mighty Max, you've got M4s across the board, you've got a single kit. This is do or die at the moment.
Last chance saloon for Endpoint. Like, if they have to force buy in the next round, then I just don't see it happening. I just don't see them being able to do much. Like, you know, we said that before with some of the other force buys we found, but we're just with the sheer amount of pressure and the number of rounds they have to do to get back into overtime. Like, it's just too much for me. Endpoint better flip the switch now if they want to try and get their best chance at this OT, or maybe even this map victory in this 2-0. Again, passive positions taken by the CT side. Mighty Max so far out of the CT spawn, that UMP is going to do nothing if they go mid to B.
FORZE have gained a fair bit of map control at the moment, a little bit of establishment out towards the upper tunnels. They've taken short, and all this really comes down to for Endpoint is playing incredibly passive. I don't think Flip was seen. He is now. That's a great advantage. The B lurk coming out from the T side doesn't find anything. That's now going to force FORZE into executing to this A bomb site. That's exactly what Endpoint need, an opening advantage to work with.
Funnel into the bomb site that they've got the majority of their players are at. 3 in total, 2 directly defending A. And no one to cut off rotations from the mid position, so Rio and Robin can make their way back out into the A-site defense. It flashes over. Crucial gonna face away from it. See so many spray through, do damage, not get the kills. Robin will get face cracked. The UMP still there towards Goose. Furthermore, he's in as he tries to refine his position here against the all odds. It's all Almaza to take him down. 3 on 3. Thomas still here towards long as his backup comes in for the retake. Robin does drop XE Power. Nade to his position. Will do a little bit of damage, not much overall. Almaza seen. Headshot spray through. Surreal takes him down. All after Jerry, 1 pick found, but Thomas will win the fight and will just keep Endpoint alive.
Oh, that's big. Huge retake coming out from Endpoint, that 3 on 3, and it all just comes down to peeking on each other's contact, establishing the crossfires being set. But for Endpoint, right, look how many rounds in a row it's going to take from them just to reset the economy line from FORZE. They've got so much money to work with. And even for Endpoint, you know, maybe if they hold on to 3-4 players staying alive, they can build up a bit of a bank for themselves. But considering it was only 2 surviving when that retake came out, they have to upgrade weapons on 3 different players.
Have investment can come through from FORZE, so they can rebuy for a couple more rounds here against the Endpoint side. And look at how quickly they're going to go. Face Crack is going to get punished for it. First pick not found. Second player seen towards mid. The AWP could potentially find one. Surreal sees the shoulder and does damage and then backs off. Endpoint playing a lot more passive-aggressively. Knowing when they're in danger, it's better to save their lives than to lose them for trades.
And that was very aggressive coming out from Face Crack. Almost unnecessary aggression that just easily found an opening kill for a Surreal, I believe it was. Or Crucial, I should say. Endpoint. 2 players over towards this B bomb site. FORZE again going back to taking the short control. And you've got to think for Forza, all it comes down to is if they can isolate this single player on the bomb side, because Crucial's got the AWP, but he's really alone. His teammate Thomas is way too far away to help assist him in a short commitment.
Got to land all these shots, and he has been pretty impressive, but not that much here in this map up. Here we go, T side coming through, they're dropping the CT spawn. Jerry's gonna see Crucial, take him down, isolate that first pick. Thomas is there towards long, but on 1 HP. He can't reface, he can't deny the bomb site and the plant. The man advantage for this retake, he will set himself up and try and do his part here.
Oh, XE Power, this could be big with the NWP. No flashbang coming out. Finds the first, not quite the second as the swing comes up, but Thomas is so damn low. Just 1 point of health. And in this 2-on-2 retake, that molly towards a short position will at least deal with Jerry, but flits on towards the site and they don't know about him yet.
And a Gandalf Molotov towards that site will not flush him out, will not do the damage, will not get a kill. I think that plant's been planted open as well. Should they realize that Gandalf is here? Orb scope. Oh! I thought Jerry landed the collateral. But Flip chimes in at the exact same moment, and Forza gets a map point.
Oh, I mean, that looked like a collateral. It really did look like one, but no, it was Flit trying to help him out in the end, and you've got to think for Endpoint, they had to get that retake successfully. And now going into round 25, the buy's not there, the money's not there, and well, the damn round is not there.
Crucial and land some 6 scout shots again to turn their fortunes, but honestly, I think you're right. I think they're out of this one. They have to win this in order to stay alive on Dust 2, and it's just not going to happen, I don't think. Damage done to Exy to begin. To get that much out, but Crucial return with a wall bang, leg shot, and Gary to take the man down. So real turning away at the wrong possible moment, and that's Flit getting another kill. 3 more to go for the T side before they take us to a 3rd map of Train. An Endpoint. They have behind a response, but they have been in general just a lot more disappointing by comparison. Hold the phone, we found a 3 versus 3.
A good answer back coming out from Endpoint. And, oh, Jerry, if he makes a solo play out from mid and takes Robin down, then that will really start to force the rotates out from the CT side. Our Mazer, they don't know about him. They haven't heard the footsteps, but the problem is, for Our Mazer, as soon as he takes contact out from the mid player, that's the information that's been pulled across to Thomas.
Oh, he misses his spray, and Jerry strikes at the right moment, so their key moment there, their key chance to take something back has been wasted. Mighty Max with a deagle, taken down by Armors, a 16-9. Forza are going to a 3rd map.
I'll tell you what, Jay, I didn't think we were going to Train, but that was a very good performance from Forza, and it's certainly difficult mentally to be able to come back, especially in a semi-final, the pressure on your back, losing your opening map on OT, but just dispatching Endpoint. Only 9 rounds goes the way of the British side, and for Forza, you've got to think that was a great turnaround, a really great turnaround from them, and for Endpoint, we just didn't really see a star player at all on Dust 2.
Didn't see much of anything, I think, on Dust 2, to be honest. And again, to go back to what I was saying in the pregame, my main worry about them picking Dust 2 was that they were going to replicate the performance on that they had against Honoris. And I honestly believe that they had the exact same performance today. Like, this was just not impressive. Single-digit scoreline. By comparison to Inferno, where they won Forza's map pick, by all extension, Endpoint should be in on a map where they should be able to swing straight through and do some major damage, but just, it didn't come out that way.
Yeah, look, it certainly didn't. One thing to certainly take into consideration is the economy game. They never won enough rounds in a row to kind of build up a bank. It kept going back and forward with 4 spies here and there. And you look at the rounds. I mean, Forza won, I would say, 2 or 3 4 spy, half by eco rounds on Dust 2 that really just wrecks you completely. You know, it drains you mentally to lose rounds like that. But for the Russians, I'm really happy. I'm really pleased that they were able to turn up on Dust 2 and take this semi-final to a 3rd map of the series.
That 3rd map will be Train. They last played it in February, and it was Endpoint that walked away with the victory. But much like Dust 2, it has been a shaky one for the UK boys, so we'll find out whether or not history will repeat itself for the 2nd time in this series. We're going to a very short break, but when we come back, we'll find out who's in the grand finals of Malta Vibes. Welcome back to Malta Vibes. We're getting into map 3 of our second semi-final today. Endpoint losing their map pick of Dust 2 to FORZE, as FORZE lost their map pick of Inferno to Endpoint. So Train will be the last map to decide this one. Again, I want to reiterate what I said before the break. This is a map that is very weird for Endpoint. It's a very hit and miss map for Endpoint. But the last time they took on FORZE on this map, it went 16-7. Dwayne, let's get some thoughts about this one.
Yeah, look, it seems like we have a curse. Whenever we cast Endpoint on Train, they don't do well. But whenever I watch them outside of when we're casting, they seem to be doing well. So I'm hoping that the curse is not going to be put on them today. But no, look, honestly, they're very shaky on Train, to say the least. The results, it doesn't seem like it's shaky. But certainly when we've watched them, they can have some very rough T-sides. Sometimes it just seems like they're not really sure what they're trying to achieve. They struggle to find opening picks. The big success that they've got is when they get that secondary AWP on a Mighty Max and Surreal, they look damn impactful on the CT side, but it's the T side that I'm really worried about, Jay.
That kind of feeds into something that Endpoint have been doing not a lot lately, and that's the double AWP setup, you know? Especially on Train. Whenever we see them on Train, it's the only map that they really pull it out upon, but they also just don't really do it as often as most other teams would on a map like Train. So, like, the double AWP setup seems like it's going to be such a crucial sort of part of the setup here for Endpoint. But, like, what's the realistic chance we'll actually see it come out?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Look, I hope we're certainly going to see it come out. Depending on the bomb sites, like normally the time you get Surreal being like the B anchor while they keep 4 and A. So often he'll keep the AWP around ramp or around heaven just to leave a bit of an anchor, while we'll see Crucial a lot of the time AWPing towards back green, Ivy around connector. Sometimes Mighty Max picks it if they want to go for like a double AWP on A setup. I'm hoping we'll see it. The thing is, though, when it comes to Endpoint, you never really know when it's going to come out, Jay.
Well, the last time they played this map, it was on DreamHack Open Anaheim. This time it's going to be online here at Malta Vibes. Remember that matchup, actually? It was the historic Endpoint victory, the elimination match from Group A, which we all sat down and watched when we were at LAN. So that was great. You remember that, Dwayne, right?
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that on Train. Yeah. But will history repeat itself, Jay?
Or will FORZE get the revenge? Well, either way, we'll get a chance to give a shout out to Gaming Malta. Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, the home of gaming excellence. FORZE will get their knife on the board, therefore they get their choice aside. A CT start might benefit Endpoint in a surprising fashion, I think, because if they were able to just sort of like, you know, get the jitters out first thing, then go to their CT half in the second one, then they know exactly what they need to do and how much ground they have to make up against FORZE.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly one way of having a look at it, you know, seeing if they can get off to a good start, seeing if they can get some rounds on the board. One player in particular who I certainly feel as if in the last couple of months has really been impressive is Thomas, and we haven't really seen too much from him, I would say, in this best of 3, which is kind of surprising because, for me at least, Thomas normally shines when he's under pressure, you know, when they're in the big games, when they're in, like, semi-finals, quarterfinals. So I'm really hoping that for Endpoint, they can, you know, get Thomas firing up. If they can get him and Crucial firing, then Endpoint are in for a really good chance, especially on this T side.
Well, Endpoint set themselves up with 2 players on utility, double flash and smoke from Mighty Max and Robin. Look at Crucial diving straight down the pop dog position. You get that early pick and map control, making quite a bit of noise for us. Armors is definitely going to call that out, and XPower is going to keep his eyes on for the 2 players that are there up on ticket booth as he jumps from the bomb train to the connector position. And smokes come out towards A. This is going to be a full-blown execution. Ivy siphoned off as well as connector sees it. Smokes go down. Flashes over. Still 2 left in the pipeline for Max and Robin. Thomas is going to get straight up to the bomb site, try to look for the plant. He has no idea that XE Power's up here as Almaza finds that first kill on Seville. The bomb will get forced away. Jerry getting tagged relatively low. Robin does take the man down, but Thomas is also fallen to trade. So 2 for 1. The bomb in CT control out in the open. Almaza gets Mighty Max here at Pop Dog. Crucial, missing all his bullets. Does get that headshot in the end, and Robin turns it back, but they're solo HP. Almaza drops next. Robin up for one final headshot for a 4K, forced to reload, sees exactly where Flit is, but could not get the kill. As Flit gets 2 kills to his name, gets the pistol for FORZE.
And unfortunately, what happened there for Endpoint is that they just try and get that bomb down straight away, rather than clearing out the site, rather than trying to aggress and forcing those CTs back. And you've got to think, as soon as that bomb gets dropped into the open, it just makes it so difficult for Endpoint to bring that round back. Yes, we saw a couple of nice kills coming out for both Robin and Crucial, but the round was pretty much already done. And for FORZE, Taking the pistol round and taking the XM for Almazer out towards the B bomb site. This could be interesting.
Oh, XM gets that first kill. Jerry can get the second. Nice and easy for the shotty. It was a force buy, and again, firepower differential is different by comparison, but it's always nice to see the shotguns falling up the cash. Plenty of money here for Almazer. So ready to wreck them all. And 2-0 on the board for FORZE, as you would expect. Those tats in particular were clean on the second and the third players. But $2,700 gained by this shotty for the kills alone. You can see what that's going to do. M4's out, Scout's still in. Going to keep the SMGs for value's sake. Surprised they didn't keep the shotgun for value's sake, but I digress. Same thing.
Now, what FORZE realistically could do, Jay, considering the fact of how many kills came out from that auto shotty, is they can get Flit and Exy on an AWP going into the following round. Even the aggression coming out from these MP9s, they're really looking to farm up the economy. And well, that force buy in the last round really wasn't too successful. So much money going the way of the XM. Jumping MP9, and well, this round's pretty much all but over. Thomas, last one left. He's got his knife out, looking for something, but a 3-0 start. And you know what? Considering no one goes down, it might actually not be the best option to invest the AWPs. At least keep the economy in like change and where it is at the moment. You don't even need to upgrade anything.
Well, a good 3-0 start, as you mentioned. No need for upgrades on the FORZE side. You get value out of these weapons. Again, just most of the SMGs to be upgraded in the next round if necessary. But you know, if they can win it off the back of this, which they could very easily do here. Again, Endpoint's T side, not exactly pretty. Gonna evade most of the nades and flashes coming forward. The SMGs will push in, get a 1-for-1 trade. That's already pretty decent considering that's an AK they faced against.
That's a very decent stance coming out from FORZE, and they're going to actually bring a second player over to this B bomb site. Looking for a little bit of information, face crack, at least falling a little bit further back from the T-con position. And for Endpoint, you'd have to think that it's going to be an outer hit, considering the fact they've got a little bit of Ivy presence. They're now falling back out of Brown Halls. This should just be the outer take to the A bomb site.
Well, 60 seconds, make it happen. On the trades, at least, obviously 1-for-1 total. AK here seeing two players out, and face crack drops the man. 9 HP, can pass that back to his teammate. He'll keep the weapons in play for him. Surreal, Max and Thomas make their way in from Pop Dog and T-Con. Not seeing the CTs there on the bomb site. Surreal does get a player down from heaven. It's now Flit standing behind the second piece of cover on the bomb train. Flashes over from the T side, still looking for the smoke, still looking for Max, still looking for the opposition. I think he saw the foot of the first man that crossed out. One player close towards Red Train. He's going to have to be the central focus of this retake here for FORZE, and they're playing this so carefully. Slowly but surely prodding into the bomb site. Thomas is waiting. It's very quiet across this entire board, but you can imagine the explosion going to come through in a moment. Thomas tagged low, still gets Almazer, looks towards Stopper, has info on Flit. Exy Powers thinking up to the bomb, taps it once, going to try and force the peaks in. Flit will go down, and Surreal will clean up the final kills. So first on the board for Endpoint. A bit of a struggle to get that first, though.
Yeah, look, it certainly was. That round was very back and forward, and you felt as almost for Flit there, he may have played that a little bit too cautiously. Flit is normally a player that likes to get in your face, and he was just waiting towards that back of the bomb train, just waiting for his teammates to regroup rather than swinging out. And this is what I talked about with the double orb setup. The fact that FORZE did not upgrade a lot in that last round, kept it as a bonus round, and here it is, Flit and Exy Power on these double orbs. This is where FORZE can get right back into the game. Hello.
Goodbye. Shot missed. Same for Flit out here to the Brown Halls. Man advantage. Robin is isolated from making his way back out, though. He's got no further utility, and that shot's not missing. Flit, beautiful with the AWP, and no Brown Hall strike from Endpoint. They're just going to continue the passive control.
And considering that was just a single lurk coming out from Robin, there's no way of a trade potential. I love the way that Flit actually aggresses through that smoke rather than playing passive. Crucial does find an opener, and they're stacked up from ramp. This could be big from Almazer, especially if he gets a flash in from his teammate. If he gets any kind of assistance, this could be big from Almazer with the M4, but it all comes down to timing, and he can't find anything.
XC Power able to take a 3 versus 3. Now the T's are on the bomb site, but there's still so much more to do. Plant yet to be secured here for Endpoint. Surreal's on 5 HP, but as is XC on 17. The AWP, however, can work with this low amount of health. Smoke's on, going to extinguish the flames, throw it out. XC going to start peeking in from the CT spawn entrance. Surreal on the bomb train, just waiting carefully, and the CT's so slow about these retakes here.
They really are taking their time, but they're at least finding the impact. They're able to turn it into their advantage, a 3-on-2, and Surreal's just so damn low. Even the nade's going to be able to take him down, and for Crucial, 1 versus 3, needs to try and isolate the fight. They know exactly where he is, and even Flip just re-peeking into the angle. A simple retake coming through, and Flit, as soon as they bring out the double orbs, it's not even XC Power that finds the impact. It's a quadra kill for Flit.
And quadra rounds for FORZE, responding to Endpoint start. And the rebuy back from the Endpoint camp is not going to look confident at all. AKs will come out, but Surreal's got a Deagle. I don't think they have a drop weapon for him, no. This is going to be rough, very rough for the Endpoint side. I mean, again, they struggled to get their first rifle round on the board, so the fact that they're limited by any amount of weaponry here just indicates bad times for the T side.
Yeah, it certainly does, and they really need to get off to a good start on T. If they get 5 rounds or more, I certainly think that they can establish a comeback, but for most teams on T, you'd probably be looking at like 6 rounds at a minimum on a map like Train. This HE, if it's timed right, can do a hell of a lot of damage onto Robin. And, well, unfortunately, not quite timed that right. It's a little bit further back than the nade was. And even for Endpoint, considering the Ivy presence they put in the early round, they're not even really committing with it.
They're very careful again. In both sides, in general, are playing very carefully. The CTs, you see how passive they are to the A bomb side, not pushing up towards T-Con, not pushing out of Ivy. Even playing off this ramp upper contact from XC Power and Almazet. And of course, Endpoint, you know, passive as they always are, seems to be looking for these defaults in the opening kills. Kill could come through here on Robin's part. Flashes over as the T's look to make their way in on the B bomb site. Surreal, no idea where Almazet is. He gets the kill on 1, damage to the second. Flit gets Robin meanwhile on the Ivy face. The plant to be secured here as the T side move close. Thomas again out towards the T-Con area, ready for face crack. Face crack drops Super So Crucial on Max. Last 2 players left. Both players held out towards Grill, and that's 1 kill found for the Orb Slow. Face Sync gets the second as well. And this CT half is looking beautiful from FORZE.
Now, if I'm Endpoint, if I'm Mighty Max, I'm saying, right, Robin needs help at Ivy. Man, he is struggling at Ivy at the moment. Just bring him a second player. Just bring him some backup. Because at the moment, for the CT side, pretty much all of the opening kills are going their way off the back of Robin going down. And from there, the execution comes out to the B bomb site. The retakes are fantastic once again. And 5-1 up, Endpoint. Not off to the best of starts at the moment on this CT side, on T side, I should say. Money line starting to build up for FORZE. And these orbs are just finding so much impact at the moment. So many kills between Flit and XE.
Yeah, we talked about how FORZE is also not a team that tend to use a double orb setup. And I mean, well,
yeah, it's true.
Right now, they brought it out more times in this map than they have throughout the entire series. And as you mentioned, having so much impact, I really think it speaks to the level of, you know, I really think it speaks to how impactful the AWP is on a map like Train. FORZE are just abusing that left, right, and center against Endpoint, and they can abuse it right here again against the Pistols. It is a half buy round from Endpoint, and the struggles continue. But again, as there's been a bit of a theme so far here in Malta Vibes, it's not too out of the ordinary. We expected Endpoint to have a rough T-side half, and that's exactly what's happening. Pistol plays out towards the A bomb site here. M4s and AKs here in body blocks. Jerry will take out Robin. Flit sneaks through with the AWP, dropping the bomb plant. And Max had no idea that player got to him. Thomas will make his way up to the bomb site. Jerry's going to take out Crucial though, and XE does not miss his flicks, as we would expect. 6-1 for the CT side.
And I'd like to see the wall of smokes coming out from Endpoint, maybe just to hit something a little bit quicker. They've been very passive in getting map control. They've had single lurks from Robin out towards Ivy, kind of. I mean, yeah, look at those odds. That's pretty one-sided, to say the least. Pretty one-sided. I mean, they believe in the city side of FORZE, I'm going to say, Jay.
Mate, those odds were so one-sided, they actually hurt me. Like, I'm an Endpoint fan, but I'm not that much of an Endpoint fan. Like,
yeah,
but that hurt
rough.
me. Like, oh my goodness, 16 point. I don't think I've ever seen an odd that high, to be honest. Like, that's just extra insult to injury on the Endpoint camp. And personally, I wouldn't put the odds that high. Again, I'm not really much of a better myself, so maybe I just don't know how this works. But either way, Endpoint still have a lot of breathing room on the comeback here. They just have to get a good couple of T-side rounds. And that's a start from Thomas. Almaza dropping at the edge of the smoke, and I think they're going to act off the back of that. Indeed they are. Nades coming in from Jerry. Damage done to Crucial. Incendio should stop him making his way out. Thomas has already made his way up to the smoke, though. And the smoke's coming through. We'll try and block off the... Oh, I thought it was Jerry. That's Exy that got that kill. 4 versus 3. Jerry still close against Robin. They know he's there. And the CTs will make their way in. Try to deny the bomb plant. They can't do that, but they're up for a good retake.
Ooh, great shot coming out from Mighty Max, but the trades are almost instant. And you've got to think, Face Crack and Flit in the 2 versus 2. They've swapped over one of the AWPs for an M4, but they know the information of where both these players are. You'd have to think someone's got to stick it, and someone's got to be able to try and defend. Face Crack struggling a little bit to even be able to tap that bomb. And Endpoint, they're playing this so well. They're playing so passive, but Robin, he's the last one left.
They can't get on the bomb in time here. The time is just going to be good enough for it. Robin's got to swing as soon as they hear that tap. AWP's waiting for the kill. He gets that one frag, but Face Crack's going up in smoke. That'll be a second round for Endpoint. But again, take a look at the 2 rounds they won there. 2 players alive on the first and no players alive for the second. The buy is going to look broken for Endpoint. FORZE can respond with full-blown rifles.
And that's the big thing, is that even though Endpoint win the rounds, they lose the economy game. They've lost every single player. And even the buy coming forward into round number 9, we're seeing Galils coming up to back those AKs. And the double AWPs, they just keep coming. They realize how much impact they've found, that they can just keep investing. Ooh, this is fast from Endpoint. This is the quickest we've seen from them yet.
Split with 1 frag, not quite the second. Mighty Max controls Exy with a no-scope, though. Lands on Robin. Surreal can respond of his own right. The flick not going to be connecting still for Exy Power. He's missing a few uncharacteristic shots. 3 versus 2. The T's have gained the advantage. Damage sustained. He knows a Crucial somewhere in the midst of the smoke. They're doing damage over on the default plant position. Almaza does get Surreal. And now 1 versus 2 sees Crucial. Not ready for the swing in the midst of a reload animation, so he couldn't take the shot, couldn't take the adjustment. And Endpoint do sneak a 3rd in the T-side board.
And that's really smart. You know, I give my hats off to Mighty Max. That's a really great call. They've realized, okay, we've slowed this right down for most of the T-side. We haven't hit them quick. Let's go for a quick outside take. Try and see if we can isolate those AWPs. And that's the thing. On a map like Train, if you've got an AWP of Exy player playing around like the back of bomb or connector, it's so difficult to be able to contain control when the Ts are coming at you so quickly. And that's how the AWPs were isolated. This could be the opportunity for Endpoint to come back, and we're actually going to go fast to the B bomb side. No smokes. It's a dry run.
Oh, 2 kills for Almaza as the CZ catches 1 off guard. Another player's low, and the Nova in the backline gets a pick back. It's all up to Thomas. He could lose this so easily. And they've done it. What a round for FORZE. And they get double AWPs for free. They get double AWPs for free.
How many times have we seen these buys work against the Endpoint side? It's not even funny to keep bringing it up. The Nova just, 2 kills, easy. Dry run into the B bomb site, no utility. I mean, it was a good start. They found the opening kill. Then the CZ does a lot of work because they just don't check the angle. And Endpoint, only 3 rounds on T. I'm worried. I'm extremely worried for them. We know that their T sides can be shaky. But to only get 3 rounds already, it's not enough.
Look, if they can get at least 5 by the turn of the half, I think it's workable. I genuinely think it's workable there for Endpoint, but like their struggle they've got to go through to get to that point is just going to be so manic.
True.
They will concede the 8th right here. It's a half buy coming in from the T side. They lost a little bit of loss bonus as well, so I'm not even sure how much money they're going to have for the full investment round. It may be a bit of a harsh buy up here. See the AWPs coming in for Flair. Exy Power with his Gonna take it out to the Ivy position. Endpoint stacking up to the Brown Hills area, and ideally their strength is in numbers here. Deco coming through, so the hand cannons can take a range fight, but ideally looking to overwhelm these rifles so that way they can't get all the picks as necessary with so many players facing them at the same time. And it looks like a B commitment here from the T side.
And, well, Flitz just completely rotated out to leave Almeza alone at this big bomb site. Oh, the spam coming through. Great spray transfer. That's actually going to allow a bomb plant. So all in all for Endpoint, it's not a bad round. Like you said, strength in numbers. They get a couple of kills. They get a bomb plant. They can be pretty happy with that round.
Actually was on the connector train. So I think he predicted it well, like at the edge of the little corner on like the box on the train itself.
Yeah. Okay.
A good shot. Certainly works well for the CT camp. They're going to be happy with the kill either way. Endpoint getting quite a bit out of that round though. Quick rush in, a couple kills down, a bomb plant bonus for the buy up. Seeing the AWPs get dropped back over, the reinvestment coming in from the CT side. A couple of drop rifles as well, so they could still break it off the back of this. Endpoint just need to get this next round.
No, they really do. But that's the problem, right? Is it's that they lose it, and well, you can kind of kiss goodbye that 5 rounds. I think they need to go back to what works, and it might be the quick outside take. We saw how much success they were able to find, and look how quickly the utility comes out. But it's actually like a double pump from Endpoint. They're actually not committing with these early smokes.
Try Salam on one, second smoke's coming down towards Connector, and Ivy and Pop Dog again, face cracks there. Evading the Molotovs over at Sandwich, the flashbang's going over, the T-side not going to check it. Mighty Max says tag him low, he still lets Surreal slip away from the opening kill, but get a second headshot on Almiza. The bomb plant will be secured. Ooh. Jerry on a backstab, Crucial has no idea. He saw him peek out, sees nothing, checking forwards. Headshot on the man, takes him down, swings in on Robin, gets a double, and the CTs have control once again in the 2 versus 3. Mighty Max in con, Thomas and Stopper, both tagged up below 50 HP. Smoke's coming in, nades coming out. The CTs finally get dealt with. Jerry drops to leave the AWPs alone. Looking away the wrong moment. He's still swinging at Exy. Flit with his pistol out. The AWP looking close. Almost locked onto Mighty Max. But 4 kills go the way of the T-side member, and Endpoint get the elusive 4th.
A huge round from Mighty Max, one of the biggest we've seen from him yet. And, well, this was a really nice play coming out from Jerry. The big backstab coming out through the B bomb side into the Brown Halls to wrap around T-Con. But Mighty Max, you can't be stopped. The in-game leader putting up a huge performance in that last round. And well, you spoke about the money reset and FORZE up. They're going to go for the force buy. And they don't have the better buy over Endpoint going into round number 13. Oh, this could be fast again.
Looks like the positions are set up for a quick play around the corner into the ramp area. They are pretty fast back. I mean, the bomb hasn't even been picked up, so Endpoint are going to set up for the default. Meanwhile, FORZE are going to start peeking forward. Robin are going to fall to the Ivy presence from the AWP, and they're going to continue moving closer and closer here. AK recovered for Flit. This is workable again for the CT camp.
And he's got a lot of information because he's hearing no footsteps around T-Con, and that's going to force the rotations into the B bomb side. There's going to be 4 players here for the CT side, and don't tell me that another force buy is going to be another round success for this FORZE side. Crucial and Thomas in the 2-on-3.
Not over just yet, especially as Crucial gets face cracked back to even standing. And there is a player here in Connector as well. Thomas spotted him. The second player also to join us from Con as well. Keeping their eyes on the back line. They need to get the bomb plant soon here. Crucial's got to be the man to do it. He is there on the bomb site. And Thomas is playing forward. Checking ramp, checking Connector. Spray through. Jerry gets the kill. And Crucial going to leave that bomb scope in. Did they hear him? They did. He gets Jerry down. Now to check the bomb site, but he doesn't know that Flitz also made his way in. AK close. And the AWP misses its kill. And there it is, another force buy round going well for FORZE as Endpoint just can't catch a break.
They honestly can't, and they didn't even really do a lot wrong in that round, I would say. It just comes off the back of information being found from the FORZE camp. As soon as they push Ivy, as soon as Flick gets aggressive, he hears absolutely no footsteps around T-Con. They gamble stack the B bomb site, and, well, the trades just come out. 9-4. Forza 1 round away from double digits on the CT side, and this is the last map in a semi-final. Jay, the winner of this is going to take on alternate attacks in the grand final of Malta Vibes. There is so much lying on this. How have we still not seen a tactical pause for Endpoint? This is like the second or third one from Forza on train.
I'm pretty sure it's the third one.
Like, I just don't understand why they're not using their pauses.
I think they're thinking of what I was thinking earlier on in the pregame, or before, after we got the knife side chosen by Forza. I was saying, look, Endpoint know once they get to the CT side how much room they have to make up, how much ground they have to cover in the second half. So I think they're mostly focusing on that. It's like, how can we slow the progress down for Forza and stop as many rounds going their way as possible, and then look to their CT side. Unfortunately, the options are force buy here, force buy next round. And of course, they are going to buy up here in round 14. You can see the AKs, the AWPs coming in for the T side. Nades on, doing very little damage to Crucial, actually. He finds the first kill on Flitz, so that's a start for Endpoint.
A great opening coming out from the AWP, and well, we saw the aggression from Exy Power and Flit in the last round around Ivy. Exy Power's alone, finds the opener. Can he follow up? He actually escapes. He can call for a little bit of backup, but instead just goes for an individual peek, and this round's pretty much over now for the Forza camp. It's a 4-on-2 advantage for Endpoint. They can slow it down, they can play the mind games, they can play the numbers game. Every advantage is going their way in round number 14.
Oh, look at FaceCrack, though, up to the brown halls, hold the phone. 2 players to line up, he gets that 1 kill, gets the hell out of dodge. And now I know what's going on here. Surreal pushing up towards the B bomb site, and the AWP of Hamza seeing 1, seeing 2, dropping Mighty Max. This isn't over. This is winnable. This is very winnable, but Surreal sneaking in. Deagle's up, takes him down. FaceCrack drops to Crucial. Unfortunately, Endpoint recover. Forza still within moments there of losing control.
Okay, that's a good round coming out from Endpoint, and it comes off the back that they're just waiting for the aggression. They're getting a couple of nice opening kills. And when you look at round number 15, you look at the buy that's going to come out from Forza. It's not the greatest, but it is another Force, Jay, and we've seen what some of these wacky buys can do in the past. FaceCrack, he's just got a liking for the Nova at the moment. He's bought it a few times so far in this half. Oh, what a shot.
What? Did Crucial double scope in towards the bottom? That may have been why he didn't see him. Given so much time for the scout to strike, Mighty Max knows that he's there somewhere. Hearing Exy drop off, he's the most forward player of this T side. He could do so much from this position. Making their way up to the bomb train. Spray doesn't get the kill. If he had a nade, he could take him down over a connector, but for now it's a 5 versus 4. The Nova is going to get dealt with, though.
Finally, the Nova gets dealt with, and, well, that's really an advantage that Forza didn't need to give up. They had a great opening off the back of Exy Power, and for Endpoint, looks like they're going to be backing off from the brown halls, but Flit trying to tap away with this 5-7. He's seen a lot of information and can relay that over.
There we go, 2 players left for the CT. Camp smokes down to try and ensure that Pop Dog is protected. Real. Quick, even closer, put a nade on towards Flit's position. Bounces back, but actually does the damage. Does more to Surreal, though, so Flit's in a decent position. The AK. Main primary contact here. Surreal making noise. Still finds the headshot, though. I don't know how, but it works. Jerry left alone in a 1 versus 3. Obviously has to go for the retake. Molotov's back, moving forward. CZ spotted. Robin takes him down. So 6 to close out the half for Endpoint. And you know what? Considering how difficult that was in the initial part of the half, Endpoint has done a great job of bringing it back.
You know, you're absolutely right. They've been able to get a bit of a late resurgence in this first half on the T side to at least put up a pretty competent scoreline, to say the least. Nice couple of tap there coming out from Surreal. But look, 6 rounds, you mentioned it, Jay. 5 is doable. You'd have to imagine that 6 is, well, doable plus about 10%, really.
But Endpoint, the crucial thing to take here. Again, the reason why they won that train map against Forza back at Anaheim was because they got 12-3 on the CT half.
Yes.
And in general, a lot of their sort of like, maps of train, they are very CT basis. 61% of their CT rounds are won, 59% of their rounds overall won are on the CT side. So Endpoint, all the stats point to this half being so good for them. And, we've talked a lot about how the T side is weak. We've talked a lot about how it can be very awkward for a lot of teams. And certainly seems to be the case here for FORZE. See the loot bet odds that have tipped slightly in favor of Endpoint. I'm not going to lie, thinking back to that earlier really big sort of money line, it may have been a bug. I don't know. I'm not going to pay attention to that, but either way. Of course, if you do want to get involved, then of course those odds can be bet on at Loot Bet. Click the banner under the Twitch channel to get yourself 10 free CSGO spins and up to 100 euros bonus for your deposit. So, Diffuse for Mighty Max, Surreal with a Flash Smoke and HE, Utility for Almaza and Flit, Smoke Molly and Smoke Flash. I believe a P250 may be on Flit as well. Opening up the windows here, and FORZE are going to set up some utility towards A.
And this pistol round needs to be a success. It absolutely needs to be. And I believe that's a deep con smoke coming out from Flit. This HE could do a lot of damage from Surreal onto the T-side players out from ramp if it's timed correctly. And for FORZE up, they're taking their time. HG coming out. Oh, big chunk. There we go.
And 1 kill found for Surreal for it. Tapping through against Xyz on 20 HP. Thomas there on the other side of the site. Drops the bomb, gets a second headshot. And not quite a 3k. Flit and Xyz do find the trade kills, but look at the HP. This one is just impossible for the T side. Hold on. Don't tell me I've jinxed it. 2 versus 2 as the headshot comes out, but surely they can't make this work from here.
Oh, you'd really doubt it. You would really doubt it. But it all just comes down to these headshots. And even with the low HP coming out to Flit and Exy Power, they are quite aggressive at the moment on this T side. Flit ran in the corner. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought Flit was going to do that. Oh, that's big. That's a big round from Robin. That's down to the wire. And now that FORZE got a bomb plant and 4 kills, they'll probably force the issue, try and get those AKs up, maybe Flit and Face Crack. I would say both those guys, get the AKs up for them.
I just saw my worst nightmare flash before my eyes just for a moment. Like, that could very well have been a loss there for the Endpoint camp, but no. Just holding on by the skin of their teeth. So pistol the way of Endpoint, but as you say, the bomb plant comes from FORZE, and they're going to buy here in this next round for it.
Yeah, like it.
I mean, it's got 4 rifles out. I think Jerry's got, I don't know what Jerry's got, but,
just a pistol. Yeah.
But either way, still 2 AKs, 2 Galils for a second round. That's pretty good.
It's fantastic, and it really, I mean, that's not the best of starts from Jerry taking a fair bit of damage, but they need to use those rifles to the best abilities. Use it as a unit, overwhelm that B bomb site. If they get the timing right, there's only a single defender here at B, and that's Surreal. He uses that smoke. They're trying to get him to bait out utility. He's now got nothing as the anchor at the B bomb site, so if they rush him, he can't do anything to hold them back.
I'm going to get back up in Crucial, who is also without utility at this stage. And both players are going to try to set the crossfire here. They see the flashbangs coming in. They fall back behind yellow. They fall back to the stopper positions on the B bomb site. Burst through. Surreal gets the first kill on Almaza, but they sneak the bomb plant in. Jerry's low. Xy's falling even lower. Damage has been done as Thomas gets secondary kill on Xy. Flick goes falling next up. Backstab coming in from Jerry, but Face Crack is here on the main bomb site defensive. Going to spray through the wall, hopefully get some picks back, but not going to happen. So Jerry left to try and get maybe a kill, maybe a knife frag on Mighty Max will be his best bet at this stage. The bomb diffuser being stuck here. Gets that 1 frag, falls out position. Not much loss for the CTs. Another bomb plant for FORZE. Do they opt for a second force buy here?
I would hope that they don't. I mean, we've certainly seen teams like FORZE in the past. Hard Legion is a great example as a team that if they get a bomb plant in that following round, they'll force again. But considering they didn't find too many kills, it means that the economy basis isn't low for their opposition. So it's a smarter call just to go for the half buy, upgrade a couple of pistols, upgrade a little bit of utility. And this at least should be the round that Endpoint now tie us up at 9 rounds each. And clawing their way back on the CT side. But it is going to come with a pretty tough road. It's not going to be easy for them. And you've got to think they need to deal with, round by round. They now need to deal with an eco, with a half buy. We've seen the struggles from Endpoint against these kind of buys in the past.
Nades doing damage again for Surreal. Not those are massive and spread out across the T side as we've seen before, but Armors are on 61 HP, and the AK of Surreal stands by alongside Crucial. Incendiary's coming back, trying to stall them from the bomb plot. The AK of Surreal gets that first pick, a second Incendiary down to the bomb site as well. Might force the planter to fall. Face crack tagged, flip down, face crack down, Jerry and XE. And Jerry XE does get one good deagle shot. The Tech 9 moves close as Thomas gets XE. It's all left to Jerry. Again to do the exit frag damage. Crucial was expecting him. Unfortunately, Endpoint do look as confident as we hoped here on the CT side. 9-9 on this board. A full 3 rounds in a row for the UK lads. And FORZE with their half buy with another bomb plant. 3 plants in a row. The money is flowing for the T side. We will see a very confident buy.
Here's an opportunity to get that AWP straight away out for Crucial. They probably won't double AWP, at least yet, Jay, considering the fact that they held on to 4 rifles. But you've got to think, yeah, you know, things are certainly looking pretty good for the Endpoint side, looking a little bit more comfortable at the moment. Surreal's just spazzing out, but it's all right. It seems like he's back. And for FORZE, now we've spoken about the AWPs on the CT side. We haven't really spoken about what XE Power can do on the T side.
AWP comes in, but it's actually the AK that gets that first kill on the CT side. Thomas gets another kill on Almaza. Further Incendiaries to force that AWP away from active challenge positions. The face crack red by Crucial, who takes a fight towards Ivy, then Mighty Max wins. And, well, I mean, you are talking about XE Power getting a chance to strike. None of the others are getting the chance to. And even he's pushed back passive. Endpoint have dealt with this aggression so well.
That's honestly one of the best rounds I've seen from Endpoint yet. They really shut that down. The counter utility was really what made it on point. So much spam coming through. Mighty Max comes away with a couple of nice kills. And you've got to think that all they need to do is push into TCOM when that round's over and just pick up an absolute ton of AKs. This is looking very good for the Endpoint side. And this should really be them on the lead. And you've got to think, even with so much time on the clock, FORZE have to, like, just save. They can't do anything. They both go down, then they're not going to get a buy into the next. At least going into the following round, they can bring an AWP and an AK in play.
40 seconds left. Time's ticking. Endpoint not going to go hunting for them. The FORZE are just left to hold on, wait these out. You know, I mean, with that level of time on the clock, then, you know, Endpoint could have easily swung in and taken them all down, but the FORZE side just don't want to have any of it, and Endpoint don't want to concede either. Their own money line is a little bit tagged up, so it makes sense. Maybe they can get that FAMAS a bit closer to the players that went down. They can grab a third AK.
Absolutely, that's what they'll be looking for.
The M4 instead, actually. So one of the T side players.
Counter-terrorists win. They're actually not pushing forward. They may have just had a bit of a gut feeling that maybe the eyes were on towards TCOD and they realized we don't really want to overextend when we've got rifles here. And that's, with 2 players surviving, going to initiate the force from FORZE. At least they've got a decent amount of money line, considering the fact that you said, Jay, they got so many bomb plants to start this half off that their economy's actually been in a pretty good state.
Once again, the Nave's doing a lot of early damage to the T-side cam. Flit's going to take a little bit less than before.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Was that an AWP shot that connected to that, or was that another HE?
I would say, no, the AWP was out towards COD. It had to be a HE, or spam. Probably a HE. Oh, all right, Max.
Well, the kill is a combination of both.
Yeah.
Spam through against Almaza. We'll take him down. XE still low. Face crack's even lower than before. And FORZE, again, with a very awkward start. Jerry's going to get popped in, it seems, to the pop dog position. Robin's ready with the M4. May falling down, Jerry's seen. He's a dead man. And Robin continues to hold the corner position. They're not expecting that. Thomas gets flipped, meanwhile, out somewhere else on the map. 5 versus 2. Endpoint have got full control of this. And as they hear players rotating out, they hunt for even more frags. And what a turnaround from the first half. And, you know, again, for Endpoint, their CT side against FORZE was utterly dominant when they took them on last time.
Yeah. And you've just got to think that for FORZE, mentally resetting is going to be tough, considering the fact that they put, what, 9 rounds up on CT. They went into the half looking, you know, pretty good, I would say. and they've just been shut down. Like, yeah, some of the rounds have been close, but these gun rounds have been far from it. FaceCracker actually going to get a bomb plant? You are kidding me. They've all left the site! If he got a bomb plant, Jay. Ooh.
Yeah, he's going to get it. He's going to get a bomb plant.
Are you kidding?
I mean,
come on, Endpoint! Oh my goodness.
He's going to get a kill for it as well.
Like, come on. I'm so tilted, man. I can't believe they let him out of bomb. They're five alive. Like, how do they let him plant?
That's probably tilted you a lot more than it should tilt anybody, to be fair. It's probably tilted you a lot more than it has tilted Endpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's still not going to be incredible for FORZE. We probably might not even see a buy coming out from these guys. It'd be a bit difficult to justify it. They're going to take another tactical pause on this T side. I think that's 4 for 4 now.
Yeah, it should be the last.
Yeah. So the decisions to be made by the Russians. But definitely a concession to be had, I feel.
Do you know who that man is up on that picture of train? The mosaic, as they say?
Is it? Oh, train's based in Russia, isn't it? So it would be...
It is.
It would be some Russian leader, correct?
I've got no idea. I just asked you. I've broken him.
Are you serious?
I've got absolutely no idea who it is.
Well, if anyone wants to let us know at DoinkCSGO and at the Eternal J on Twitter.
Well, they're going to buy after that bomb plan, Jay. So that bomb plan actually allows them to get AKs out. Imagine if Endpoint loses this round.
Look how aggressive they're going to get out of the gate once again. Flitz or Thomas, he couldn't take him down. He turned away at the wrong moment, and that's an opening kill. Found by the CT site. Again, the aggression of FORZE are punished. And Robin, aggressing towards Pop Dog of his own right, does not get a secondary frag, though. Oh,
the timing. Does he get seen? No, I don't think he did. That was like right on the edge of the smoke. And that's actually a big kill coming out from Almaze. That turns it into a 4-on-4 and now draws the attention of the CTs to look towards the Ivy presence.
Thomas in particular was very, very susceptible to a trade in there. We're at the sandwich position. AWP looking in for Crucial. Nothing being seen with the T's. They're playing so carefully. Thomas will get armors of those. That drops the Ivy control, and maybe they should be able to realize what's going on from here.
Oh, they probably have a pretty good idea now, Endpoint. They realized the fact that there was 2 smokes down at that B bomb site, but they haven't seen anything. XCPower is in such a great position at the moment, and no one has any idea he's there. He's still silent, so he could take down Thomas. If he could take him down, that should be a free bomb plant on the side. How is Thomas looking the other way at the right time? The timing is impeccable, and Jerry's now into the 1 versus 4. And I have honestly no idea what made Thomas look towards his left, but that was just, the timing could not be better.
Not a single T side round so far in this second half.
And no more tacticals, Jay. I'm pretty sure they've used them all.
That's true. Nothing they can do to reorient themselves. Endpoint on the serious hype train. Appropriate because this map is train. Nade stacks out. They're expecting AV aggression. They're going to probably push that in to try to get the opening frag. But as soon as they hear all those nades coming through, Orb seeing them all cross, he knows what's going on here. Nades on Thomas, up for the rude awakening. Man down, found on the CT side. 5 on 4, they now know where most of FORZE are at. But again, they're going to be careful about their aggression, slowly start pushing up to an actual hit. The AWP and Max standing by. Nades on, here they go. First man out, he could not connect that shot. Refacing around the corner, still can't connect it. Robin's going to get pressure, he does find that first frag, he does get overwhelmed, but the Tech 9s and the P250s doing the damage, all suddenly left to Surreal in a 1 versus 3 scenario. And this has fallen apart very quickly for Endpoint.
And it's honestly surprising that the first round that's going to go the way of the FORZE side is off the back of just a half buy, just some upgrades. Surreal. This could be a big clutch. 1 versus 3 attempt from him. They already saw his position towards Old Bomb, so they have a rough idea of where he is. And well, it's the AWP from Flip that's going to be able to clean up. So FORZE are going to finally get onto the board on the T side, and it was much needed, Jay. It's been a while since they've been able to put a round up.
Well, they'll be able to follow it up. One of the main issues for Endpoint on their T side was follow-up rounds. They oftentimes just got one, conceded it right back to FORZE. AKs, the AWP will come out alongside the double ult setup for Max and Crucial. It's the same setup they used so frivolously there on the FORZE camp. And Crucial will make good use of it. Taking face crack down to kick things off in the brown halls. And once again, FORZE with their passiveness can force back, but even more utility of the CT side.
And will we speak about the double AWP setup coming out for Endpoint? Now Mighty Max has picked it up over towards the A bomb site by the looks of things. Seeing if he could back up Crucial as he makes his way over to B. I mean, that's a great start. The AWP finding the opener and no response to come out from FORZE. Where do they go from here? A minute on the clock, still a lot of time to work with. No presence now out towards the brown halls. This has to be a commitment out from the A bomb side, but you've got to be looking at Xe Power. He is the late lurk out from Ivy. He needs to try and be able to find some sort of connection on the split from the players out towards T-Com.
50 seconds to the hit. Mighty Max is ready for Xe to face. Smoke down towards one side, flash over, catches Mighty Max completely blind, and he baits in that shot as well. Thomas going to have his back turn here to look towards the opposition as Jerry takes him down, and Max knows how many T-Set players are really around him. He'll get that one frag, try to get off the red train. Eventually falls down to the hands of Almaza. 3-on-3. Robin, Surreal, and Crucial, very different positions. Robin forced out a pop dog. Surreal on the bomb train, waiting for Almaza to peek. If he drops his bomb, it could be everything. 19 seconds, and the T's are pressured. AWP trying to make his way around. The AK gets the pick. Crucial with one, flicking back. He's seen, and 10 seconds remain. He can't get Flit. The bomb plant will be secured, and it's all a case of timing and accuracy here from the AK and the AWP. Crucial checking left and right, falling down. Flit's going to hear that. He's going to have all the info he needs to work with. Crucial back on the train here. Flit checking out. Look, scope missing out the quick scope. Making his way back up, still sees him. Going to make his way up to the default position. See Flit come out, trying to land the no scope. It does not connect. And the pistols ideally needs to come through from Crucial because they're out for Flit, and he gets the job done. 11 on the board for FORZE.
Oh, okay. This is now a couple of good rounds in a row from FORZE. And they haven't quite reset the bank from Endpoint, but if they win out this following round, then they certainly will have. They don't even have enough money to go for the double AWP setup. Okay, this is really going to get interesting now, Jay. I think we've seriously got a third map on our series. And this is back and forward. We thought that Endpoint may have just been able to kind of sweep away with what looked to be a great lead on the CT side. 2 in a row now for FORZE. And you've got to think the confidence is now in their court.
Execution set seems to come through the B bomb site here from FORZE. Damage coming in from the nade of Surreal. Nothing major out from the CT side. Smokes on from face crack. They're gonna molly their way in, flash their way into the bomb site. Crucial here with a second player in Surreal. A third man looking to also rotate if necessary. Seems like it might well be, yeah, a bit of aggression coming in from Jerry towards A.
Oh, I like this. This is a really nice strat coming out. So it looked like it was a double pump setup to the B bomb site. Jerry's now selling a fake to A, so they could honestly commit to B with Xe Power finding that opening kill. It's a 5-on-4. It all really comes down to Robin. He's hearing so many footsteps. He needs to go absolutely massive in pop dog. How many kills can he find? 1, 2. No, he can't find a second. Oh, but it just keeps going the way of the CT side. Thomas and Mighty Max are doing so much work.
The trades come back from Alma's. A Surreal response to him. It's all left to Almi. 1 versus 2 for a 3K clutch now. The AK knows there's one on site. Does not know a Mighty Max here at Olof. The bomb is on his back, and the trades have been good from Endpoint to maintain control of the situation. He's going to wrap back in from Connector. 10 seconds, though. He's got to get Surreal very quickly here. He does not see the CT man, and Mighty Max is going to have to concede his bomb plant here. Here he pushes up. AWP from Surreal can't catch him, but Mighty Max does. They'll secure a plant. They won't secure the round as Endpoint try and extend their lead again.
And you've really got to feel for the FORZE guys, because that strat was actually one of the most creative T-side kind of executions we've seen from them yet. A fake over to the B bomb site pulled so many rotations away. They had Exi Power out towards Ivy. They had Jerry out and Olaf, but they really just couldn't get that finesse in terms of the opening kills. Yes, they get a 1-for-1 for Robin out through Pop Dog, but after that, all the information goes the way of the CT side, and for Endpoint, they shut it down. So many bomb plants have gone the way of this FORZE camp in the second half, but they haven't really found many rounds. Only 2 rounds on the T side.
Okay, so I guess we misjudged FORZE's pauses, it seems. This has to be their final one. They've taken so many so far. Like,
unlimited.
That would be something. I mean, like, unless maybe the overlay's bugged and it's not telling us so when Endpoint is taking pauses, which actually could be plausible based on the positions. Maybe. But no, this has to be the final pause from FORZE. Yeah. Like, there's no way that they've got any more left in the tank. Orb of Max and Crucial are here for the CT side. So again, the double orbs coming through in the Orb of Exi there to try and respond towards it. Again, the fast utility coming through towards the Ivy and the con position. Mighty Max, look at him taking out the first, seeing where the orb is as well, knows exactly where it's at. Flashes in for Exi, re-smoke down. Crucial catches him instead as both the orbs chime in and get a 5 versus 3.
Oh, here we go. Double orbs out from Ivy, and will they just find so much success peeking on each other's contact? And you've got to think for FORZE, how do you even bring this back? Like, this is such a difficult position. Look at the damage that's been done to Jerry and Flet. And for FORZE, I'm getting seriously worried now. Yes, we've seen 2, I would say, good rounds on the T side, but outside of them, it has just all fallen apart from FORZE. Even finding opening kills has been a big struggle. Flit's undetected. That's the only big and impactful element in this round, is that they don't know where Flit is.
AK pushed up towards Ivy in the midst of the smoke, could find so much. Sees 2 headshot spray through. Thomas has not a damn clue. And it's a 3-on-3 now, back to even standing for FORZE, and Flit's going to continue extending around against Crucial at this kind of range. The orb could fall so easily, and indeed it does. Mighty Max can't connect his shot, sees all 3 Ts, he knows exactly where they are, and Surreal just can't seem to do it. Endpoint. No response to the aggression on the T side. And that was a beautifully played round by Flit.
That's huge. Flit, honestly, that's an MVP. That's probably round of the day for me, or at least in this best of 3. Like, that is so impactful. And that actually might just give FORZE the edge to come back into it. The fact that he gets 4 kills completely undetected, and it's a force buy from Endpoint. They have been wrecked in terms of the economy basis. This could really go close to 30 rounds, Jay.
Endpoint have to consider back to 13-13 at least, but Surreal gets 2 kills and gets away unscathed. Thomas became the damage sponge, if you will, for the CT camp right there. Does go down for it. Flit gonna make his way in from Old Hell. Max is checking. He gets another headshot, grabs an AK. Jerry's right around his corner. Max gonna get faced in and does end up falling down. But a 3 versus 2. Endpoint have a serious chance to make this round work.
And Jerry's just seeing if he can find something. Flashed into the angle. Unfortunately, that flash doesn't go far enough to blind any of the players in towards the bomb site of, I believe that's Crucial at the bomb train. Now, 2-on-3, the information's been given up on where Jerry is. Exi Power at this point is relatively known, but not entirely. Oh, and the Deagles, they're making this work, but Exi Power's still alive.
P250 up close against Crucial, couldn't land his shot. The Deagle couldn't get the headshot either. And Orp get faced in Izzy. Looks the wrong way at the wrong time. Crucial getting 2, and the Eco Pistols do it for the CT side. Endpoint stealing magic away from FORZE after they had a round stolen from them on the flank. 14-12. And the money's not great for the T side. I thought they were going to go for an Eco or a half buy here, but they're going to force investment. They have to get this next round, though, else Endpoint are in prime position to take this series.
Such a kick in the teeth, because we've seen how many times that Endpoint have been ecoed and, you know, lost to half buys. This time around, it actually goes the other way. Robin hearing a couple of footsteps, at least of the single player out towards the brown halls. And this is probably FORZE's last chance, you'd have to say.
It is. Like, just again, the money being where it is right now.
Yeah.
The scoreline being where it is right now. Everything needs to go right for FORZE here in round 27. Else we will be looking at a Endpoint victory to make their way to the grand finals, and a grand final that they would have hunted for from the very outset of entering this tournament. 60 seconds left. FORZE gonna push forward here on a T-Con, but they're just being suppressed by so much Endpoint utility.
They really can't make a move, you're right. There is so much util out towards T-Con. The problem for Endpoint that they're going to be worried about is that they don't have a massive amount of utility to continue going. Thomas, what can he find? That's the first kill. Can he follow up? They've got so much information, and the kills are just trickling through.
Thomas going to look towards Ivy and get Almazer as well. Jerry does get one response through the smoke, but the AWP there to try and take it right back. Exy moving forward. The AK M4's ready to receive, but here goes dropping next. 2 versus 3, and again, Endpoint, very similar positions to where this was in the last round, except this time there's 2 AKs to work with on the T side. Jerry and Exy moving forward. AWP jump facing. He saw Exy. He knows exactly where to aim, but he doesn't land the kill shot. Only a small tag. So can finish off the job. Jerry going to get swung in by Robin as he looked for the bomb plum, but is unsuccessful. So not even a money bonus going into round 28. It'll be map, match, and semi-final point for Endpoint as FORZE look to force buy back into OT.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. FORZE, can they bring anything forward? Endpoint, 1 round away. And I tell you, they were one of the favorites to go far into the playoffs. 1 round will get them that spot into the grand final. Like you said, the one they'll be looking for before this event even started. And it's fast out towards the B bomb site. Surreal finds the first. This could be so impactful. There's now 3 players at the B bomb site from the CT side.
Or missing its shot against Exy, tries to adjust against it with a scout. Needs that head, but he can't seem to land it. The CT so far unscathed. And FORZE are forced to put the brakes on their execution. They've lost 2, 3 more kills to go. As Endpoint force FORZE to change their mind. They're going to go back over to the pop dog position, potentially to the A bomb site here. All the way around towards T-Con for the rotation, in fact.
This is a long rotate from FORZE, and they're lucky that Endpoint have not pushed aggressively. If they would have had the Ivy player of Mighty Max push aggressively out towards, you know, the T-Con or in towards T-Spawn, this long rotation could have just been completely shut down. And Almazer, you'd have to expect, is trying to sell some sort of a fake out from Ivy while the Brown Hall commitment comes through. But in a 3-on-5, there's not honestly a lot of options that they've got with them.
40 seconds to the hit. I don't know what FORZE are playing at here with Almazer being alone here towards Ivy and potentially to draw some rotations away, leaving it all on one player with the CT defensive as his teammates make their way out. They've got to find Surreal and Crucial. 1 top of white here at the Marshmallow position. The 1 out of connector, spray through on the first, bomb gets dropped to the second, and that's GG. Almazer can do what he wants from here, but he's not winning this round. He's not keeping FORZE alive. He'll creep out towards CT, but needs all 5 picks. He can't get to the bomb, can't get to the site in time. Crucial sees him, and well, it's all a formality. 16-12, all 5 alive for Endpoint at the end of the game.